Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Georgia Street Fighter 5 Scene Podcast Community Podcast Discussion Group. I'm your moderator for this event, ShadowAce, and of course, I always want to first thank SirRetro for agreeing to host this discussion as usual. Um, the reason I've assembled you all here this evening is to just get your views and opinion on the Street Fighter Five Georgia scene and the Street Fighter Five scene in general. The game has been out for what, about 6 years by now, about going on seven, maybe, and that's quite a long time. Before the next installment drops. We got confirmation that Street Fighter Six is now in development. So it's a new generation going to be coming through, and we'll be passing the torch on to them. And each of us, everybody in this podcast, they have over about 5 years of collective FGC experience. So you're definitely going to hear some good knowledge about the scene and just about fighting games in general. So each of you may also hold your own different views towards the game and the community in general. So this is just an opportunity to express yourself in a constructive manner. I'm gonna start off first by introducing your panel. The panel for this evening. I'll go first. My name is ShadowAce. Been about the Georgia FGC scene for about man, since Vanilla Street Fighter 4, about 10 or so years, 10 or more years. Old school, old El Fuerte player, been playing that character since their game's launch. Player, commentator, played Ed Falk and Rashid in Street Fighter Five. I'm also a commentator, and I guess now I can add podcaster to that list. But yeah, so retro, talk to the people.
Sorry.
The retro.
Hey,
hello.
I have myself muted, so you good.
Yeah,
Hey everyone. SirRetro, I'm more recent tour organizer of the Middle Georgia area. Been around the scene as far like the FGC wise for about 5 years now. Beforehand, I was part of the Smash community at Mercer University a few years prior, so I kind of have been on both sides of the community and run. I mainly play Street Fighter. I also dabble in Marvel 3, Third Strike, pretty much jack of all trades for any fighting game. I'm a big video game enthusiast. Main character for Street Fighter in particular currently is G and Alex and Oro, and of course I train and teach players in my scene, especially newcomers like novice to beginner, fundamentals of the fighting games, and help them like get resources to become better players and people in general overall. So I'm also producer of the show. So thank ShadowAce for letting me be part of this series.
Yes, sir, indeed. And for our two special guests that we have for episode 5 for today, Street Fighter 5, episode 5, new patch is about to come out. So the game is about to change from 5. So let's see. First off, when I posted on Twitter, I posted a clue as to who we would be having on this podcast. I said the only clue that I was going to give out was Mad Shoes. And I know people were scratching their head and they're like, what the hell? What is he talking about? Mad Shoes, Mad Shoes. Well, first half of our special guest is going to be the first part is Mad. The first part is Mad. Urian player, Mad. Urian player, Mad in Georgia. Mad Dog Chop. Pokchop. Chop. Yes, that is the clue. Yes, we have Pokchop. Pokchop, how you doing today, good sir?
What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
Talk to the good people, man.
Sure, man. I'm just here to uh, see what's going on in this Street Fighter community. As y'all have known, I've been out of the loop for quite some time, but I've been invited to speak on the podcast, so I definitely looking forward to getting back in, see what's going on.
Okay. All right. Yep. Definitely. Chop is a well-known veteran, man, throughout the community, FGC community. Not outside of just Street Fighter. He dabbles in multiple games as well. Most known for Tekken, of course. anytime you mention out some Tekken, man, of course, one of the names that gets brought up frequently in the list of most entertaining players out there for the game is going to be Chop. I mean, known world over, man. International people, they know about some Mad Dog Chop, some Pokchop. So man, he's definitely a well traveled veteran in regards to the scene, and I want to thank him for dedicating his Sunday evening to talk to us today about the Street Fighter V community scene here. And then the second part of my clue was Chop. It was Chop. Okay, so I'm saying shoes. My bad. I said shoes. And the only thing I could really, it's kind of vague. That's kind of like a vague hint. But this is somebody who knows a little bit about the shoe game out there in the world. The sneaker ninja himself, man, the Bushin style. You know what I'm saying? You're the Zeku player out there in the Bama scene. Nice1. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing pretty good, sir. I'm doing good. Bring Guy back, Street Fighter 6. Thank you, Capcom. Please.
Talk to the good people out there, man. Introduce yourself to them.
Let's see. Nice1, pretty much a dinosaur. Been playing competitive games since 2006. I actually came from Melee. Played Melee, transition to Brawl. Yeah, I'm old.
Oh my god.
Let's see, what are we? Melee, transition to Brawl, Street Fighter 4 is what caught my eye, and then ever since then it's Street Fighter. And that's pretty much all I've been sticking to. Took a break from the game. Some people knew I had to go to China for my job, so that pretty much put a hold on everything indefinitely. But then this new patch coming, I was excited to get back in the game, and then I seen Mika Irish Whip Invisible Wall back, and I'm like, because we had a Mac Negro. He used to play Mika, and I don't even want to talk about it.
Was that horrible?
Yeah, I mean, you do good, and hey, one Irish Whip, backdash, drop kick, fun. Guess.
Time to get.
All right.
It is.
So, but we'll see how this new patch goes. I am looking forward to it, though, just to see what all kind of wonky stuff they give all the characters back. To be honest, because since it's the definitive version, I expect to see a lot of jank and a lot of stress levels, table thrown, controls breaking. So it'll be fun.
For sure, man. It'd be like a fresh coat of paint, man. For say I want to say they waited a little too late, for this to make this happen. But I think that their aim was because this was the swan song for Street Fighter V. They wanted to just, let's just go all out, man. Let's just go all out. Let's just make a fun version of the game before Street Fighter 6 is coming through. Of course, we don't have any data or knowledge as far as like what Street Fighter 6 is even going to play like. So I guess for now, and I'm thinking about it. How Ultra had that Omega mode, and some of the stuff from Omega mode got into Street Fighter V. So I'm kind of thinking this might be like the same thing with this last patch. Like maybe some stuff from the last patch of 5 is going to end up in Street Fighter 6. So, but I mean, we'll see what happens, yo. We'll see what happens with it. But once again, I want to thank you all so much today for joining us on the 5th episode of the series. Pokchop, Nice1, Retro. It's been an interesting 2 years, man. That probably longer than 2 years since the pandemic began. A lot of things changed. People changed. The scene changed for sure, and it kind of just like made us like it kind of just turned into like I don't want to say a wasteland, but it's like a desert. Like it's kind of dry. As far as events goes, like it kind of just slowed down momentum wise. Like people started losing interest in playing the game, and new games came out and their attention went to those games, or they might have just left the whole entire game entirely. So the traveling's kind of slowed down a bit too as well. And I think it'll continue to be that way. Most of our Street Fighter heads are in their late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s now. So everybody's getting a bit older. Of course, we're not as young as we used to be. People got families, different jobs and stuff like that. So the attention kind of changes, and focuses more on that development, and it's understandable. So we're not going to have the same players that were playing in the beginning play now. They may come back for a little bit, but I think the real life matchup is something that's going to take over completely, where they just don't have as much time as they used to be able to get back into that competitive spirit. But I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. We can only just sit back and watch and try to do what we can do. But yeah, speaking of traveling though, I haven't seen you guys over 2 years since the pandemic began. I felt like back in our scene, I felt like people will only show up before the pandemic. Will only show up if certain people went out to play, or I could understand that, and I could not understand that. People only wanted to show up. Um, I guess just out of the blue, randomly. It's just randomly. Like the numbers were just so low for Street Fighter V, and when we lost Gwinnett Broad, I kind of just sealed the deal as far as like the competitive, spirit for the scene. But let me ask this question. Ask this question. I'll start off with for you, Nice1. So you being the crypto commander, what I'm saying, the Sultan of sneakers, Mr. International himself. Nice1, what's going on, man? How was traveling overseas? Like you mentioned, you was overseas in China. You had a business trip over there.
Yes. So for those who don't know, I do work for Mercedes-Benz US International in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and they were launching a project that did my intern for in China. And of course, with the pandemic that's going on, that made traveling pretty difficult. And it was new for me because it was actually my first time traveling outside the country. And what better place to go to than probably the most controversial place for COVID-19. So, the whole process is different. I get there to Shanghai. I have to quarantine at a government hotel for 2 weeks. And you can't leave the room. And even if you were to leave the room, once you open the door, you're gonna see a dude in his chair in a CDC outfit with a fan blowing. So they're monitoring you like for 2 weeks. And the only time you really open your door is to get your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and for them to do a daily COVID test, which is either like a nasal swab or a temperature check. So you do that for 2 weeks, then I went to another hotel for 1 week, and then I flew to Beijing for another week. But it's a lot different how they treat the whole COVID situation. I give you one example. Normally here, if you catch COVID, they pretty much, tell you go home, chill. You're supposed to, but you don't, so you end up going home chilling. And then you go back to work. But in Shanghai, they had a case at Disney. Over 30,000 people was there. They shut the whole park down, and every single person had to get tested in order to leave the park. So it's definitely handled a lot different than what we do in the U.S. And it was also an eye opener though, to see how we handle it in the U.S. versus how they handle it in China. But overall, good experience. I did enjoy it, the good and bad. I learned a lot of things. So, maybe if I start traveling internationally, maybe to tournaments and whatnot, I'll know the do's and don'ts. Because at first it was pretty stressful for me, but the help of my colleagues made it a lot better. So, yeah.
Okay. Oh man, that definitely sounds like quite the experience to go through. And as far as you coming back to the U.S., are you traveling again? Like, are you going to travel again back overseas?
They asked me to, but unfortunately, we made some changes back at the office, so I need to focus on more work because the person that I was working side by side with, they end up leaving their positions, so a lot of it shift over to me. So I'm still learning a lot of things because in the midst of me getting ready to travel to China, I did switch teams and whatnot. So I won't be traveling to China, but I'll still be traveling in the US for tournaments and whatnot. So that'll be pretty fun.
Okay. Okay. And we'll be definitely seeing you offline a little bit more. Um, as far as like the beginning cycle of Street Fighter 6? Like we'll be seeing you on streams with the bright smile.
Yeah. You know, just waiting for this patch to come, and once it drops, it's a lot to catch up on. But I know my brother, Greg, aka Magnegro, and also Rocky and a couple other Alabama players. They'll take care of me like they always do when I come back.
Get you up to speed. Make sure you're right as far as like your knowledge and stuff of the game.
Yeah,
I
gonna be a lot. Gonna be a lot of thought, but you know, we'll be fine.
Okay. And then how did you still manage your time for playing? Because you're one of the ones that just may not have been playing as much because you were traveling. And you, I guess, maintained that muscle memory because you got like what, first or second at the Comic Con in Alabama?
Yeah, so when I got back, I started playing like really hard again, just online. But of course, nobody knew that I was back because I didn't really announce that I was back. So I was just playing online on my PC account, but I was too lazy to change it. So I think when I played KB, Greg recognized the name. So that was pretty much solidifying me that I was actually back in the States and back playing. But right before Comic Con and stuff, I was playing hard. And then with this PC that I have now, I see what all the hype is when people was like, "Oh man, you just gotta play on PC, man. It's so much better." And I was like, I'm too lazy, you know. But once I upgraded my PC, I'm like, man, I do not want to play on PS4 anymore.
Definitely. The experience does make the difference, man. The frames and stuff, because PS4 is capped at what, I think 60. I think it's capped at 60, and of course, if you get a good monitor, you play on PC, you getting up to like what, 120 or something. So you can definitely feel the difference in the gameplay as far as like the refresh rate for it. So that's what's up, man. Um, but like, and during that time period, so I don't think you ever like really stopped. So like, I'm trying to see like what, outside of just like busy, like as far as work goes, like what turned you off from playing consistently? Like, did you ever have a period where you just stopped playing?
Nah, just when I went to China for work, and that's pretty much when I said I'm gonna take a break from, traveling and whatnot. And then the pandemic hit, so that pretty much killed my drive to really want to play much. I mean, online is cool and all, but I mean, everybody has the issues with this game in particular, the netcode, so it kind of kills it once the pandemic hit, and I kind of just lost the love to play the game anymore because there wasn't any offline events outside of, playing your local scene, but we didn't really have as much people playing Street Fighter 5 like we did in Street Fighter 4 at one time. So I guess you could say that's when I pretty much stopped playing.
Yeah, that's about the normal reaction that we got from most of the people here that been on the show, and just in general. I think that's kind of like the general vibe of how everything's going. But Chop, let me talk to Chop for a second. Yo, Chop, the OG of the OGs, man. You know what I'm saying? Multi-talented gamer all around. Easily a Georgia legend for sure. If you currently play Tekken in Georgia, you have to ask who Pokchop is. I'm pretty sure you tripping. You still young. You still still got the Similac behind the ears, because this man definitely was one of the grounding foundations of the Tekken scene in Georgia for sure, man. Just with like the legacy events that we had here, like even starting out like back in the Street Fighter 4 days, ATL Revival, Impact Clash, just with Magnicious, aka Get Money, Princess Stacy, Iceman, at the Georgia World Congress Center. What motivates you, Chop? Because you currently still stream, you're currently still streaming and still playing. But what motivates you to keep pushing out content and just traveling?
Um, hey, that's a hard one right there. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm motivated, but just now it's all about having fun. It went from, I got to do this, I got to do that, to now it's like, do I want to or do I not want to? And it's it's just more fun for me now, you know. Um, but if I have a sponsor at the time when I'm want to travel, I definitely travel. If I don't, I tend to be like, do I really want to pay for this trip? How far is it? How long am I stay? Uh, if I go, I just go. If I don't, I don't. But as far as the content wise, I feel like if I'm gonna play the game, I might as well stream. That's how I feel. If whatever I'm playing, I'm gonna stream it. Depending on what I'm playing. Like if I'm playing Call of Duty, if I'm playing Warzone Call of Duty, I'm definitely gonna stream that. If I'm playing Vanguard, I probably won't stream it because I'm only working on the guns or whatever. And then as far as Tekken, of course, I got to stream Tekken. If I play Street Fighter, I might as well stream it. But here lately, I've been playing older games like CVS 2, Marvel 2, Alpha, those kind of those Street Fighters and crossovers. I've been playing those, so just trying to have some fun. Have me a little bit of fun before retirement at least.
And that's fair. That's fair enough. You definitely cemented your legacy for sure. Just with players wanting to play just because they, some players may be wanting to play just because they may have saw some videos of you or like you in some highlight reels or some clips or something. Just having a blast, man. Just just going in and doing your speeches and just having a good time, man. Just having a good time. They saw that and they say, yo, I want to be a part of that. Yo, how do I get involved in that and stuff? And one thing led to another, and now they're in the FGC now. So now they playing in tournaments and stuff. So you definitely influenced a lot of players out there just off of your energy that you brought to the scene. So man, so once again, thank you so much for that. Now, are you're currently under a sponsor?
Yeah, Infinite. I'm under Infinite Gaming, under their sponsorship right now.
Okay, and how would someone go about trying to get sponsored if they're just competing in the FGC? Maybe they need some assistance in trying to get out to events and stuff like that. Like, how would they try to approach a sponsorship or an organization about getting sponsored?
Well, for one, organizations approach you. Like they see that you have the potential, or you're top of your game. They will give you, they'll reach out to you. They'll find out your social media or some kind of way to contact you, and they would approach you. So for someone who wants to get sponsored, I mean, all I can say is you have to go. You have to travel. That's first and foremost. You have to go to various tournaments and compete, and you have to prove yourself. Prove that you are ready for sponsorship, not only inside of the game but also outside.
So when you say outside, you would have to like market yourself to the company. Like, what can you bring to that company?
No, not that. What I mean by outside is how you carry yourself. Like, they look at, with this person be, first off, they'll look at you to see if you're marketable. Okay, if you have a good personality, you're definitely marketable. If you have an explosive personality, you're definitely marketable. But if you have a lot of negativity, a lot of people don't want to touch you. Even if you're good at the game, they're not going to touch you. So it's not about always being good at the game. It's also about how you carry yourself outside of gaming.
Because you're representing that brand when you travel and signed up. So
right.
I got you. So any type of negative impact or something that you may have done definitely would reflect that company that sponsored you for the event. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So in regards to that, yeah, I got a couple of questions that we can talk about, discuss here. One of the main ones here is just about it's been going on event. It's been going on a lot of people's minds. Of course, this month is March. Am I not mistaken? This month is we are currently in March, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah,
That is correct. Nice. We're in March, right?
Yeah, we're in March. You got what?
Yep.
Till Thursday, and then after Thursday, we'll be in April.
Okay, SirRetro, we in March, right? We're in March.
What 2022 or 2020? Because it feels like time's still for me.
Oh man, oh not like this.
No, I'm kidding. No, yeah, we're still March. We're in March.
March, Chop. If I'm not mistaken, doesn't something usually happen in March?
And that is final round.
Oh God, there it is. Okay, I was gonna give more clues, but
Hey, we ain't beating around the bush. Final round has historically been in March for 20-some years.
And when was your first one?
Final round 6.
Wow, yo. Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean like that, but yo, final round.
Hey man, you sound like Kevin Hart there, man.
Final round 6. Was that at Holiday Inn?
No, that was at a recreation center. Recreation center.
Okay, a recreation center. So that's taking it.
Yeah, that was before Holiday Inn. Holiday Inn was I think it was the next year after that. Final round 7 was at a Holiday Inn, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you remember what games that they ran back then?
When I first came, it was Tekken 4, Marvel 2, I believe Third Strike. I'm not sure about the rest. I didn't really pay it too much attention.
Oh man, that's okay. Okay, because I think mine was like either 13. Well, the year that they first had Street Fighter 4, the vanilla Street Fighter 4. So I think it may have been 13, I believe, 13 or 14. One of them numbers, y'all. One of them numbers. They had the long paper bracket.
That big bracket, man.
Oh yeah,
I like that big bracket.
Yeah.
They had that for Tekken.
They had that. Okay, they had that for Tekken. So when you came into the scene, were there OG? I mean, were there people like older players, older than you?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, it was OGs back then.
Oh.
Well, you had
Oh man. All right,
you had ATL Truth. You had K-Gun Sharugi. You had June, who was a Third Strike player, but he also plays Tekken as well. But he was the best Third Strike player in Georgia. Then you had 50 More Cent. You had CPU. Everybody else knows him as Joe and Max. Then you had Columbus. He goes by Eat My Pizza Meat. I think that's his game tag. But yeah, that was CVS 2 player. He was CVS 2 player. I mean, you had a variety of players that was in the scene when I got here, and some of them was already considered OGs, and then of course Clint.
Yeah. You said Truth doesn't look like he even ages, man. He still looks young, still like a young man. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a minute, but yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, man. That's great to hear about the older generation of a final round, and that just segues into my question, man. I'm just gonna get down to the nitty gritty and just say it, man. Do you think that's it's the curtain call for final round? Is it done?
I don't know. That is the question of the year. The past couple of years actually, but I mean I don't know.
Now before the pandemic hit. Okay, so before the pandemic,
it was questionable before the pandemic hit. So
no, it was being ran. It was going to be ran that year, but it got canceled, right? But it was being ran.
It did get canceled. 2020. I totally forgot about that. About that. Yeah, it definitely did get canceled, and he refunded everybody their money back that wanted their money back. And that was that pretty much that put him in a very, very tight bind. So I would love for Final Round to come back. I definitely would, because that's the ATL staple. That is one of the staples. Actually, one of the staples of the South.
That's true.
It was the longest running tournament on the East Coast. It may have been running longer than Evo, or before Evo was even named Evo. I believe it was running longer than Evo. So, and if that's the case, it was the longest running American tournament
in history. No, hands down.
Hands down.
Wow.
hands down. That's. I mean, people ask about it, like, yo, is final round coming back? Like, yo, what happened to final round? But yeah, that year it got the year that got canceled. Because I had applied to do commentary for CPT for it, and I had got accepted. But then they was like, well, due to rising concerns, this, that, and the third. Like you said, they canceled. They refunded everyone their money, and then I guess it just went radio silent. Um, is that the right word to use? Like afterwards, like maybe like a few months down the road, we just like as far as like being like running for updates, like if anything was going to happen the year after, I don't think anything was shown on their social media about it. But again, that's what we were just wondering, like if final round is coming back, like is it possible? And Nice1, let me ask you that question. Do you think final round is coming back?
I forgot one of our guys that hosts a tournament, Nega Man. It was some post that he made, and I remember Larry saying something pertaining to final round. I can't remember if he said if it was coming back or not. Uh,
You said it was a post. It was a post he made.
well, no, it wasn't a post he made. I think it was either like Nega Man or Dare. So one of our guys had made a post, and Larry did comment about if final round would come back or not. He didn't say specifically. He just mentioned the names. Um, pretty much one of those is it gonna come back or not come back type of sentences. It was something along the lines of I guess we'll see what we'll do with final round and whatnot. So is it coming back? I mean, I would love to see it come back. And I mean, it always started out the CPT event for everybody, everybody that was the tournament to go to. Regardless, if it how it ran, everybody was going to be there, whether we were crammed and couldn't move around in the venue or if we had space. Everybody knew, all right, it's the first CPT event. I need to go get these points. I'm on my way to final round.
Exactly, and with Street Fighter 6, coming through, I don't think we have a definitive date for when it's going to be released, for sure. But well, later out the year, I'm sure we're going to get a trailer or two, gameplay trailer to see how it goes, and what a way would be to kick it off. Final round come back, CPT 2023. Final round being one of the first, they announced that final round as the first stop on the tour. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that'll make people go crazy. Like, yo, what? Final round coming back? Oh my goodness. Because I mean, final round was more for me. Final round was beyond the tournament. It was where I met a lot of people, like just like for friends and just people in general. And it was just one of those staples where you can get like-minded individuals to come together and just play some games, man. It opened the door pathway for a lot of relationships with just businesses and companies like that, and it just grew from there, man. Just for a legacy series like that, I definitely want to see, even if it is just one more year, I definitely want to see Final Round come back to form, back to life in some form of capacity. So here's hoping. The fact that you said that there was some activity toward a post that Larry made, that gives me hope, man. That's what I needed to hear. That's all I need to hear, yo. Because if it wasn't, if there wasn't no true intention behind trying to bring it back, maybe there just would have been no response at all. So we'll see what happens, yo. We'll see what happens. But again, final round is definitely one of those events down here in Georgia where it's cemented its legacy as far as players go, and even for all the OGs and older players or people who just stopped playing the game in general, you can always ask them. You can ask them, what is final round, and they can probably tell you because they probably went to one, more than likely. So big ups to the whole entire final round crew, man, and we'll see what happens within the next coming year. But of course, COVID, the pandemic did change things. Majors are, the majors are coming back. Majors are coming back in a strong way, man. We got Combo Breaker coming up. We got CEO coming up. The Big E, was it? This is April Annihilation. You got that coming up too as well.
I
So
believe April Annihilation has been.
I think it got canceled.
Yeah, I think it got canceled. Yeah.
what was the other one for the other Big E event?
Winter
That
Brawl?
was-
Winter Brawl. Well, I think Winter Brawl just already happened.
Yeah.
And you got Summer Jam,
Of course,
and then you got NEC. As far as Big E events. Yeah.
And I
Okay,
think
so
in,
April Annihilation got canceled. Okay.
yeah, and I think April Texas Showdown. I think it's
Texas Showdown. Yeah, Texas Showdown. That's another big one too as well. So events are starting to come back a little bit, in some form of fashion. Of course, you got people that are still a little bit cautious, or just don't want to go out to risk anything, which is understandable. Of course, the climate and the atmosphere has changed as well within the FBC. People have their own viewpoints about how they feel about like wearing masks out in public and stuff like that, and taking precautions. So within time, we'll see what happens, man. But that also leads me to the next question. That also leads me into this next other question. So I saw some posts here on Twitter about like the meta for like what's happening with the offline scene. Let's see. Yeah, NYC Furby Saban, Arturo, he asked a question about what happened to the offline scene for NLBC. Said that the numbers were pretty low, which was actually surprising because NLBC was one of those staples where every time you tuned into one of those Team Spooky streams, you just saw a bunch of people in the background just chilling, playing some games and stuff. But he said those numbers went down significantly. So let me ask you guys this: is that where we're going here? Like, is offline slowing down? Let me ask you.
That's. I mean, the way it looks. I mean, until there is some cure for COVID or something like that, and maybe where things is going. I mean, but I don't think it's slowing down though. I think people are they're coming out a little bit more and more. They're just waiting a little bit longer before they do so. But I don't think it's slowing down per se. Not like that, at least. I mean, and then on top of that, you also got to realize, man, these majors. Well, no shots at nobody, but besides Big E, all of these other tournaments are. I'm not trying to say anything by this term, but they're money hungry. All right, CEO, $100 to get in. Freaking combo breaker, $100 to get in. Evo, $100 to get in. Come on, man. I spend $100 at Big E tournament. I'm getting in the tournament, and I'm playing in like 3 or 4 games. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, that's actual facts. I mean, people are not making money like they used to. Some people are making more money in the pandemic. Some people are making a lot less money in the pandemic, and the higher percentage of people making a lot more money, they're not going to tournaments like that. I mean, the people who are not making that money, they're definitely not going to tournaments like that. They can't afford it. And right now, these tournaments are breaking people's backs. They're breaking the bank to get in. Then on top of you getting in, some of them have a vaccine mandate. A lot of people don't have the vaccine. I definitely have not been vaccinated, and I never will get vaccinated. So for me to go to combo breaker is out of the question because they have a vaccine mandate. You have to be vaccinated to come. Me personally, I wear a mask, but not doing no vaccine.
And is that and then with that on top of the cost of traveling, especially now that a lot of players are getting, they're getting older, and finances are starting to change too as well. They can't really go to as many events as they used to be able to. So maybe 1 or 2 events they can pick out throughout the year they could try to save up for just to go to. So And that also does lead to a good question, because when you watch these events and you see the players that are in the top 8 or top 16 or whatever, and you looking behind the scenes, like you look at the stream or something, you be like, oh, why is this person in top 16? Oh, this tournament was free. I should have went, or this person wouldn't have won if that and the third were there. So that also comes down to that type of mindset where I think that if players can't travel, if they can't afford to travel like that, and they can only afford to, specific trips now, I think that's where we're at. And I think that what you just said kind of like segues into it, with the vaccination and unvaccinated. So that definitely the attendance is kind of will change for sure, as far as that concerns. So let me ask you, that's also a good question. For you, Nice1. As far as like offline goes, do you feel like the numbers are going to continue to decline?
Uh, for majors, probably so. If they do this, if they keep the mandate for the vaccine. I mean, it's like Chop said. Some people are vaccine and some aren't. I'm vaccinated. But I had to get it beat because even at my job and for me to go to China. But some people are vaccinated, some people aren't. It's your decision at the end of the day. And me personally, I'll fully respect if you want to be vaccinated or not. Uh, yeah, I mean, I can see tournaments going on the decline if they just putting in the mandate to be vaccinated kills it in itself. Because there are still people who refuse to be vaccinated for their own reasons, and I respect it. So as long as that's there, that's one obstacle in itself, to get your attendance up. So I
Wow.
think tournaments probably will decline. I think the numbers may be steady, but I don't think it'll be anything, what we had back in the day or anything. Just because of this whole vaccine ordeal.
And SirRetro, as a tournament organizer, a TO yourself of Middle Georgia, that's an obstacle I would say you'd have to face too as well for people coming out to your events. I don't think it was, because I remember you had something about a vaccination for the tournament, but then like you took it away and then made it for just having your mask, just making sure you just have your mask for the event. Do you think that could have affected attendance because that was a that was a vaccination mandate for it?
So yeah, that was a concern, because of course I was like following on with what the other procedures from other tournaments was, hey, have this mandate, whatever, if possible. But then looking back at it and look at the condition that many people, either don't want to be vaccinated or cannot afford to get vaccinated, or actually for personal health reasons they cannot get vaccinated as well, like if they're immunocompromised, stuff like that. And then also too, even just getting a negative test, find out how much it is costly. So there's a lot of factors I have to reconsider towards the end, where it's like, hey, well, at least have a mask. And of course, I know some people some people within the community are very concerned about their health, and I try to respect it. But at the same time, I understand that I respect others people who not say they don't care, is where they, for personal reasons, they don't want to get vaccinated or can afford this or whatever. So of course, I decided to have at least a mask, which at least everyone's on the same page with that, and then go from there. But when I talked to everyone about it, is that, hey, this is going to be a change to safety protocol to kind of alleviate and kind of relief from that mandatoriness. People, they understood that, hey, having masks is fine, we're good. So we managed to kind of like understood everyone, and learned that everyone kind of respected each other's preference on situations, regarding the COVID protocols and whatnot. So yeah, that was like the big factor for that happened last weekend with our Cherry Blossom tournament. But in the end, everyone was so comfortable. They didn't really come to me like, oh, this person have a mask. Well, he was not vaccinated. No, everyone was like, they came in, played the game, like, nothing's changed, and they had a good time, and that was it. So I'm glad that they didn't really like take it to a front where, if you put it this way, like they'll bash you to death or get mad at you or don't want to talk to you because you didn't put this protocol or you did put the protocol, whatever, from either side. But yeah, it just in the future reference, we just at least, hey, have a mask, make sure we at least do have it set up where accommodate for distance, so that way, it'll burden some people, it'll relieve some of people's worries at least. So like finding a way to compromise is not easy as a tournament organizer. So, but that was just me following, kind of procedure of how other tournaments been doing. But at the same time, it's like, considering how the people who cannot, they feel left out if we say, hey, you got to have like this to be involved or whatever, But then if they have, especially personal good reasons about it, you can't really exclude them. And that's one thing I have to consider. But if they find a way to everyone be on the same page with the safetyness, at least work with that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair enough, man. Again, vax or non-vax, it definitely is your choice as a person. At the end of the day, I don't want people to just try to shun or shame people who are not vaccinated. Hey, he's not vaccinated. He shouldn't be allowed in the tournament and stuff like that. I don't want that to try to shut down any type of momentum of somebody going out to an event. As long as you're doing your part, as long as you know that, I guess if you took the vaccine, you're good on your end. As long as you're keeping up with the mask and whatever type of sanitary procedures you need to do to make sure you're okay. I think that's the best we could do right now, and just respect the wishes of people. That's all in regards to vax and non-vax. Yeah, so that makes sense. Now that also means like, yo, do you think that's maybe why the numbers drop so low for Street Fighter 5? Like, because I noticed before the pandemic, the numbers were like very low, man. We were at the point where we were going through round robins, and then once Gwinnett Brawl was definitely our central hub for tournaments. They always had really good consistent numbers for games and stuff. So when Gwinnett Brawl announced that their doors would be closing, the other alternative was to either go to someone's house to play or head over to 404 Esports, which was an accessible venue. But even at that particular venue, the numbers were still low. When I went, because my at the time before we worked from home, my job was only like maybe 15, 20 minutes away from 404. So when I went over there was like usually maybe 4 or 5 people, and we would just do like a round robin or something and then just call it a day. So it kind of just made me think like, yo, what happened with the numbers? But I also understand at the same time, this was like a weekly series that he was doing versus Gwinnett Brawl was monthly. When Gwinnett Brawl was like a monthly thing versus weekly. So maybe the constant, attendance of, back to back to back to back kind of maybe burn some people out. I don't know. But that's why I was trying to just figure out, like, why were the numbers like dropping so low for Street Fighter 5? Was it because people just stopped getting interested in the game itself, or maybe there was something in the scene that happened? Why do you think the numbers dropped so low for Street Fighter 5, Chop?
Man, I mean, the game is a bad game. I mean, that game is terrible, man.
It's a bad game. Oh, no.
I mean, shoot, you got to realize towards the end of Street Fighter 4, it was still going strong, like very strong. And then Street Fighter 5 came out, and it just made it easy mode game, and the skill gap significantly dropped. So I feel like that was definitely a main reason why that game was not going to last as long as, not going to last that long. And then on top of that, everything was pretty much pushing online, You had multiple tournaments online, so people are like, why should I have to go outside of the house But I can just play at home. You know, I can enter this tournament, play somebody from all the way across the country, and get even more experience. You know, so I think the online scene probably killed Street Fighter as far as here in Georgia, because I mean, all of the top players they just play online.
Okay. Okay. So like, why? So if there was an event happening, right? It's like say, or let me use this for example. The Cherry Blossom Festival. The Cherry Blossom Festival was a tournament that happened in downtown Macon, right? And they had a different variety of different games: Guilty Gear Strive, Tekken Smash, and Street Fighter Five, right? So people were in the group, group chat asking like who's gonna go, who's all gonna be there, this, that, and the third, the usual spill. Um, and of course, the Macon had its players come out to compete in the event. I went, Terrence went. It was actually good atmosphere, man. Good atmosphere. But the numbers actually surprised me. There was about 12, so that was double what I expected. So I was kind of excited for that. And it just goes back to what you say, like because people are getting so comfortable within the online experience, the online world. Um, that why leave the house, right? Is that what I'm hearing? Like, yo, why should I go travel over here when I could just sit on my couch and play this person online and do it that way versus traveling. I mean,
Right, and
I have my own. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would say that, and on top of uh, COVID. So
Yeah, that's true. That's another thing, safety precautions, that as well, which couldn't affect that. So the fact that, Force for Esports still has its door open, still, having its regulars come through to play and support that particular community, that's kind of like, I want to say, the last bastion in Georgia, to be honest. As far as it, venue wise of it having its door open and still having people come through to play games on a weekly basis. So the fact that that's holding strong, especially with these particular conditions in the pandemic, is pretty amazing. But as far as our Street Fighter players going out there, it's like pulling teeth, man. it's like pulling teeth. Because you got that comfort environment. Like, yo, I'm not going to go out to this and this, that, and the third. I gotta, I'm gonna play online, and that'll be the end of it. Call it a day. So I guess we'll see what happens when this new patch. There is an offline event scheduled for after the new patch drops on April 15th at 4-4 Esports. So Street Fighter Five, they'll have it's a big tournament for that. So we'll see what happens on who's going to come out to it. But Nice1. Since you're still in Bama, right? You still in good old Bama? Okay. Okay. I mean, what's going on over there in y'all team, in y'all neck of the woods?
We just had NCA, which surprisingly had pretty good turnout for Street Fighter Five. Alex and Knowledge came through. Shout out to those guys. Um, and shout out to Back Negro for taking that tournament, protecting the house. You know what I'm saying? My boy. Surprisingly, the numbers are pretty good for Street Fighter. The NCA guys pretty much doing all they can, and they were slowly on the rise up, and then the pandemic hit, which pretty much kills it for them and everybody that was running the tournament, and they pretty much bounced back. But I don't know. I think for our scene in particular, which kind of went back to like the Street Fighter 4 days, it was you would always see the same people winning. Me, Greg, Rocky, and then it got to that point where you ask people who's going, and they're like, "Oh, is Nice1 going to be there, or is Greg going to be there?" Well, I don't want to go. I don't know. It's
What?
kind of like the Bama mentality. But the thing that kills me with our scene is like you can't catch them at a local, but you could down show catch them at final round, combo breaker, Evo, whatever majors out the tournament, and we're like, fam, what about coming to our tournament and support? Well, it's only like 4 people that show up. So what? Show up. Like, as long as NCA is running the tournament, I don't care if it's 2 people, 3 people that's showing up for Street Fighter. I'm gonna be there to support. because you got to show the support. Because I mean, it's gonna be like any scene. You don't support, the scene dies. Nobody holds a tournament, and then you're back to just playing online by yourself all day and night. So, hopefully, hopefully with this tournament that happened, hopefully more people come out. And we'll just see how things go from there.
And exactly, man. I did that for a while. Like I would just even Chop was there. Chop, I used to always see Chop set up for Tekken. And I just come through to enter for Street Fighter, play some Street Fighter, and then be up out my way. But when Chop went up there to set up, his stream for set up the stream for Tekken and stuff, of course their scene is thriving right now, man. Their scene is eating good, and I'm like, dang, man, can a Street Fighter scene get a breadstick, yo? Can we get a garlic breadstick, man? Y'all, they got steak and lobster over there at the Tekken table. You know what I'm saying? We got ramen noodles over here. Like, what's going on, man? And I think it just has to also, if to add on to that, I think it's just a lot of ego. To be honest, man, I think it's just too much. I'm better than you. Why should I go out, or stuff like that, which it shouldn't be, man. That type of mentality can hurt a scene for sure. And it's like Nice1 said, man, if you just show up just to play, just to show your support for the scene, it can grow, man. Because there were some new players there at 404 Esports like that I've never seen before. Still playing Street Fighter. There's people in the Discord right now, in the 404 Esports Discord, asking, who wants to play Street Fighter 5, and there's no answer. There's no one really answering the questions. So it's kind of difficult to like maintain a good balanced scene, I would say here, because of that and all those other factors on top of it. So that's why we're not going to see those consistent numbers that we saw back in the day. Because I pulled up in the old bracket. Do you remember? I think Nice1. I think you was there. Do y'all remember the Southeast battles that
Ooh,
Larry hosted?
damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to be at Top Golf. Also, there was a few that was at some rec centers and one that was at a club. Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
The one,
Street Fighter 5 joint, right?
yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was at the mall too, right? I can't
Yeah.
remember what mall it was though. It was like in a game store.
No, there wasn't one at the
That was
mall.
the Red Bull qualifiers, I think, at the mall. I do remember we
Oh,
went to the mall. I think that was the Red Bull qualifiers.
yeah. Okay. So it was the Red Bull qualifier, but that wasn't part of Southeast Battle, or that was its own separate name. The Proving Grounds. That's what it's called. Yeah, that Proving Grounds.
Proving Grounds was Red Bull. Southeast Battles was just Larry. But
Yeah.
Proving
Okay.
Grounds was Larry and Red Bull.
Okay, so yeah, at Proving Grounds, I think it was during season 1.
Yeah, you're talking about inside of the mall, where what's his name? He used to run Emotions. Dang, I forgot his name, but that was his little place inside of the mall. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, that was season 1 towards the end ish when Alex had, well, yeah, it was season 1. It was season 1 period because Alex had just came out and Urian came out like towards the end. I think when Urian came out, that was the last Southeast battles last Proving Ground that was there.
Okay, and then I had looked up. I was just looking at just like old tournament numbers and stuff. And that one had like 64 entrants. Just for that. And the Gwinnett Brawl, I think when they first did Gwinnett Brawl, because I think they had like a pot bonus for it, and like the first Gwinnett Brawl had like 132 entrants just for that.
But
Yeah,
that was like Gwinnett always has the tournament before final round, so they had all the internet. Well, not. I think we had some international there, but like I know California had showed up and whatnot. A lot of people from out of state showed up to that tournament because it's like that tournament right before final round kicks off.
No, this was the launch. This was the
Oh, the launch
this
of
was
Street Fighter 4. I mean Street Fighter 5.
the launch. Yeah, this was the launch of Street Fighter V. I know we always had a crazy turnout because it was the night, a few days before final round started, and I know we had always had crazy turnouts for that. A lot of out of towns and the out of towners and international people came through for that. But I'm talking about this one was like when Street Fighter V first came out. Like this was 2016. Like this is when it like first came out, and it had like 132 people in it. As a matter of fact, I think
I got
the
like third place or something like that. I think I remember that one, and I think Joel ended up winning that one too, and Jazz Rap got second.
Yeah, that one. That one. Yo, I looked at some of these names. I was like, yo, wait a minute. I don't even remember like who are these people? Like some of the names I don't remember. And I'm like, yo, what happened to these people? Like I know they're still in Georgia, maybe, possibly. But like, yo, what happened to them though? And how did we go from 132 to 5? Like
That's
what happened?
that's that new game syndrome. New game come out, everybody finna enter, get clapped up. Oh, I ain't really good at this. I think I'm out.
That's what it was. Like they just wasn't feeling it like that, and they wanted to try it out, and then afterwards it's like, all right, hasta la vista, I'm out of here. We done. Like I'm moving on to this next game.
Hey,
But
that's the new fight game syndrome right there. At
the
least the
new
Street
game,
Fighter, yeah. Street Fighter start out strong, and I mean it's gonna continue to be strong, but you know, them
mm,
that first new game comes out, yeah, everybody's gonna play it. Everybody's gonna show up at the tournament. And then you get that eye
mm.
opener like, oh, I'm still pretty trash at this. I'm out. Or you be like, let me see if I can actually get better at this.
Okay, so it's either one or the other. See, either you stay or you go for that.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that'll be the same thing for Street Fighter 6. Like I think you think we'll get like a good turnout, like a crazy turnout,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. I mean, because it's a new game, so everybody's willing to play the new game for the tournament and and see how it goes. So you always expect a new game to have really good numbers, and then you go from there, and hopefully, and I guess the goal from that right would be a lot of OGs come back play, and then a lot of new cats come and then get served, and hopefully, you can talk those guys in a first tournament. Don't worry about it. Keep playing. You'll get better. Play with us. We'll get you right, etc., etc. So you're hoping that you could bring more people from those new tournaments into the scene and help them get better.
Well, good luck streaming it.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, well, hold on, child. What you mean by that? What's that mean?
Capcom, the new Capcom rules.
That license.
You have to get permission.
Oh,
So the monthly
yeah.
tournaments is, they're going to take a hit off that. You can't charge players for entering and that kind of stuff. So what purpose would playing Street Fighter? I mean, offering Street Fighter at a local, what purpose would that serve them? Because they can't get their entry fees off of it.
Oh man, you know what? That whole situation is screwy because I will say this. I will say this. Because they took back their statement. Like they rescinded the statement. I think once the community, gave them another feedback about how they felt, and one of the TOs was like, "Yo, I never needed you guys before. I never needed you guys to stream this or whatever. I shouldn't have to do this, that, and the third. I shouldn't have to sign away my rights, for my product to just to stream your game." However, I would say they do have the right to do that because it's their game, right? You are using their product. But I think they took that back and they're re-revising it. Like they're gonna I feel like they're just gonna re-revising it, but they haven't made like an official statement yet on what the new revised statement is going to be. But so for right now, I would say like we just waiting to see what they gotta say about it. If they commit to saying like, yo, if you want to stream our game, your tournament, you want to stream our game, you gotta sign on the dotted line. But they haven't done that yet. All I know from Capcom is that they put that statement out there, the whole community just jumped on them, and then they took it back. They said, all right, well, you know what? let's do some reconsideration. Let's go back over this policy, because a lot of people were just pissed, man. They especially for photographers and photographers that photograph at events and stuff. They saying that, oh, we could just take we could take your work without having to pay you, and use it in our media as we can, as whatever, and with that type of mindset, like that kind of just left a bad sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. So we'll see what happens, man. I know they're definitely going to revise that, and we're just gonna have to just wait for that new statement to come through. But yeah, let's get down to the question portion of this here. So back in yeah, I'm gonna make it a little spicy, and then we're gonna go into some questions here. So y'all ready for the first spicy question that I got here?
I'm scared, but go ahead.
See, Chop ain't saying that. Chop ain't saying that. All right. So back in the day, let's go back. Let's go back in the time. Let's go back in the past first before we get to the present. So back in the day, man, we always had this little this rivalry, yeah, with Bama. You know what's happening, man. We always used to have this little rivalry, the Georgia versus Bama rivalry back in the Street Fighter 4 days, man, the good old days. You remember that, don't you?
Yeah. Those were some free times.
Some free times? Oh man, all right. It was always was it with the three? It was always the 3v3 or the 5v5 or something. And, Georgia, Bama used to come through to the Georgia tournaments a lot, clean up a little bit, and there was some interesting moments where I guess people were like getting the Bama players out of there, like get the Bama players out of our tournament and stuff like that. Send them home and stuff. And it was a little rivalry back in those days, man. I don't think it was too bad. It wasn't nothing too toxic or anything like that. Just a little healthy strength of community just to keep the passion going. And you think that I feel like that's what the spirit. I think that's the spirit that we need for this game here, man. To bring that back a little bit, man. Be like, yo, just keep it a certain way. Like, just not make it as harmful or something. Don't want to make it too personal or anything like that. But just keep the spirit of the competition alive, because this past weekend there was a tournament that me and Retro, we was at the IHOP. There was a tournament at IHOP, right, from that Zone Breakers.
Yeah,
hosted.
Zone Breakers. Yeah.
Yeah, the group that hosted out there in Fayetteville. Retro, where you at?
I'm right here, my man.
You hear me? Okay. All right, my guy. Let me tell you what happened, y'all. Let me tell y'all an incident that happened at this particular tournament. So I'm chilling, right? Man. I'm just enjoying some casuals, just playing some sets, relaxing. And then all I hear that I'm playing sets. I turn around. Well, no, I ain't turning around yet. I'm just still playing sets. And I just hear somebody just talking mad reckless, like just, oh man, this person's random. Why would you do that? This in that situation, it's free and stuff like that. Y'all letting this person win this tournament. Y'all let this person win. Y'all suck. Like, well, what's going on? I'm like, who on earth could be possibly talking this recklessness, this savageness? So I turned around, and it's our good old friend Joel, man. It's our, what I'm saying? I haven't seen Joel in quite some time. It wasn't no, yo, hey, how you doing, man? How's life or whatever? This man just went straight in the trash talking mode. And I'm like, yo, God dang, yo, what's going on? This man said, yo, y'all let this person win this. How you let FGC Jesus win this tournament? How you let Neon Verte win this tournament? I'm like, oh, dude, nice to see you too, man. Like, yo, this man, what's happening? This man was fired up. He said, "I'm back now. I'm back. Yeah, let's go. Yeah." I'm like,
I'm just
okay.
enjoying my pancakes.
Yo, but Retro was just chilling, man. Just like, enjoying the IHOP pancakes in the background. People was like, what's going on with this dude, man? And cause I don't know if I think they knew him. I think they knew who he was, but they was like, oh shit, like everybody started backing up and stuff, because I think they thought the situation was going to escalate, and I was just laughing in my head because I'm like, yo, what's this man like? Yo, what is he talking about? But I think it's that particular type of mentality, depending on how the person would take it. Because I didn't take it serious. I was laughing actually. That he was just saying all that stuff. But I think that particular type of fire and passion that you have for the game is good. But some people might not deem it that way. So that kind of like segues into my next question, and for you, Nice1, trash talking in the FGC. Trash talking in the FGC, yo. Talk to me. Yo. What are your thoughts about trash talking in the FGC?
I love it. As long as it never gets personal. I mean, it's always good because I mean, it fires some people up. Like I mean, me and Chop had plenty of money matches back and forth, and we've always trash talk each other until probably they kick us out the venue. But at the end of the day, it's all love and respect. Heck, even the moment where Chop was trash talking Tim when he was playing Ricky Ortiz, and when he beat him, I mean, when he beat her, he was like, blah, blah, blah. I'm that motherfucking nigga Tim. That's right. And then, Chop disappeared for a second. And then Tim had to play against Psycho. And it didn't look too good. It didn't look too good for Tim, but guess who came right back talking that shit? Chop. And I think the trash talk is needed. I think it's healthy and it builds the competitive sport. I mean, there's some times where it do get out of hand. We've seen it before, but I think I think even looking at comments when Pokchop is going in, just looking at YouTube comments is pretty hilarious because they don't really know Chop like that for real. But if you get to know him though, he keeps it in the game and doesn't keep it personal or anything. So I think it's good. I think it's good for the competitive sport because it fires up a lot of people. I think now some people may have gotten soft from it because they think they may be disrespectful to him. But I mean, even after we trash talk somebody, it's all love at the end of the day. But I think it's needed though.
You think it needed to just keep the competitive the drive for the players, between the players, like just to have them motivate, because you don't want that person to get better than you, so you want to constantly keep playing to try to, I guess, one up them.
Because if I'm playing somebody and their boys are talking shit, I definitely want my boys talking shit right back at them. And then whenever my boys is playing, I'm definitely gonna talk some shit towards the other team and whatnot. But even after the game is over, sometimes I'll even go to the people, shake their hand and tell them it's just respect at the end of the day and have a good conversation and whatnot and go from there. But I definitely do think it's something that's needed. Now I've seen lately what's been going on with some of this trash talk, whatever this Punk and Callisto. That's something else. That's some more personal stuff. Calling people bitches and calling them out about stabbing and all that stuff. That ain't what I'm here for. that ain't what we used to do back in the day. So
yeah, that's on some legal, legal suing type, things right there. You saying you stab somebody and all this other stuff. That's a wild accusation to be just putting out there like that. But yeah. Just same question for you, Chop, man. How do you feel about trash talking in the FGC?
I mean, the scene has gotten weak, man.
Uh-oh.
It's like, first of all, trash talking, if you're doing it the right way, you're definitely having fun. And it's like people getting butt hurt about any old thing, man. Then they want to cancel you, all this and that. I believe it's like a popularity contest, man. It's just popularity. Depending on how popular you are, like if you're this top notch player, you can say whatever you want to say, But if you're not, and you're talking trash, no matter how innocent it is, people gonna try to get you canceled. They're gonna try to get you barred from going to tournaments and this and that. And also, I mean, It also depends on the color of your skin. Unfortunately, I mean, it's racism in the FGC, just like it's racism any other place. So, like, if you're black and talking trash, oh, he's a thug, he's this. We don't need that. But if you of another ethnic group, oh man, that's so funny. They so likable. Let's do this, and and then once they get the clap back, oh, you're wrong for this, and you shouldn't be talking to him like that. They're just having fun. It's I I hate. I know hate is a strong word. I hate this new generation of players because you kind of can't have fun. That's why I've toned down a lot since back in our day. I've toned down a lot only because I'm like I don't even curse, and I have to watch what I say. Like, I don't use anything derogatory, anything like that, and I have to watch what I say. So I'm like, wow, I'm not even having fun no more, But I mean, I still try to, get out there, talk my trash, and have fun at the same time with only the people that I know and people who actually watch my streams are like, hey, you Pokchop, hey, they might start talking trash to me. I'm like, oh, you know who you talking to, right? Hey, cool. You asked for it. I'm gonna give it to you. But besides that, I'm quiet now, man.
They you got patched, man. The patch notes came out. The FGC patch notes
And
came out.
It was a nerf.
They told me to chop by 2.5 frames. So the chop got nerfed, man. You know what I'm saying? The FGC patch notes came through, but the fact that just to add to that, I look at some stuff on Twitter too, as far as like what's going on between the beefs and things of that nature, and there's definitely different a whole different approach to how things are going. You would say, you could say, oh, this person sucks. They're they're a bitch. SMD, stuff like that.
But yeah, I mean, but see, also it depends on what kind of trash talking that you're doing. Like I say, if you're doing it respectably, then I mean, what can you say? But if you're calling people B's and N-word and just basically calling them out, if you're taking personal shots, that's not trash talking, man. It's a fine line. It's a fine line between trash talk and being disrespectful. Like the Georgia scene historically have been known for their trash talk. So it's still trash talking here, but once you go outside, you gotta watch what you say.
Exactly.
We have thin skin. We have thick skin here in the South. We can take it because that's what we do. The older generation has been training the younger generation to have thick skin. They take it like, oh, I'm that makes me want to play even harder. Yeah, it makes me want to learn this. Makes me want to go study this character. I'm going to come back stronger. And when they beat you, oh my goodness, when they beat you, I can attest to this. When I lost the first 4-4 in over 2 years, I got popped off on. You know what I did? I took it. I was like, it was a matter of time, and I went on about my merry way, and I just came back a little bit stronger. But those players, they know how to pop off. They pop off the right way. They pop off, they leave it in the game. They come and hey, shake my hand right afterwards. Shake my hand. I beat you fair and square. Now shake my hand. You got popped off on. Shake my hand. It's all about being sportsmanlike, having good sportsmanship. We have that in Georgia. Outside, we don't. Outside of here, man. Not saying Bama doesn't, but of these other states, man. Well, yeah. I want to say the South in general. South, period. Bama, the Carolinas, Florida. We all have thick skin. We talk making you trash to each other. Some part of New York, I want to say. I mean, well, up north, but the ones that do talk trash up there are more of the older generation. The younger generation, they don't talk too much trash, and when they do, it's borderline disrespectful. So, I mean, not saying that Georgia has that as well, but you know,
Yeah, so it's two different type of mentalities when it comes to that. Basically, to sum that up, yeah, there's this respectful. Hey, you keep it in game. You don't make anything personal. You don't make anything derogatory about the person that you're playing against, and you just keep it in the game. Say, hey, let me see. Let me give you an example. Oh man, you could punish that. Why you ain't punish that? Just some friendly, friendly, competitive banter, versus where you're getting personal by calling somebody out their name, to just talking about them and stuff like that. And I think that's what separates it. That's what separates they all want to put that under one label. They all want to label that as it just being general trash talk. So the fact that that happens, it kind of hurts us, because again, unless you know somebody or you're used to playing with this particular person, you could joke around with it, you could have a good time, and you just keep it moving, man. Everybody, of course, is not going to have that same approach, especially if somebody against you, somebody you don't know, because again, what happens when you uh, talk bad about somebody on stream, Chop. So what happens? Say, for example, you play somebody in a Tekken online rank match or whatever. Right? You beat them, right? And you may have said, "Hey, man, you should have punished this, that, and the third. Nice try." And then you start laughing. And then guess what happens, Chop? That person may have been watching your stream. Guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna go on. They're gonna go on their Twitters. They're going to go on their social medias. They're going to use their fingers. And guess what? They're going to clip that moment. They're going to type it up. They're going to say, well, is this the type of player you guys sponsor, downplaying his opponents?
right.
That's what I'm talking about. And I've seen that too many times. And it's annoying, Like, I hate that hive mentality, that one person that puts that, and then you just see nothing but just bees just swarming to that comment, swarming to the comment. Oh, I completely agree. Completely unprofessional, and stuff like that. And it's like,
And see, that's another reason why a lot of these top players, they don't give advice, because there's always going to be somebody who not going to like it. It's always going to be somebody who's not going to like the advice that you give. They're going to take it and twist your words, and if you don't respond a certain type of way. So this cancel culture thing definitely has opened a lot of eyes, like how easy it is to get you up out of there, especially when you are black.
I agree. I agree. Unless it's something. Well, no. I'll say this. Even like, unless it's something like super derogatory, super inflammatory, like remark, like maybe like they're using slurs or something like that. And then that's
They're
when.
using slurs in their streams and not even get please. They still don't. They still don't get banned for that. We've been dealing with this word for over 200 some odd years. But if we use the F bomb, we use the F bomb, call somebody an F, or say that, or misgenderize somebody, we get barred, we get banned, we get canceled. But like the whole situation that went down with well, it's off topic on Big Margin, man. The whole thing, man. Like I was just sitting there like, what? What just happened? I wanted this. I was like, unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
we can't do nothing about it. Can't do nothing about it. And I mean, he for one should have either, if you have a certain look on certain things that's personal, don't tell nobody. Unfortunately, that's how it is. That's what type of community we in now. Can't tell nobody. You tell somebody how you feel, and if you're black and nobody like it, you're up out of there. Like you got to keep your comments to yourself. Got to keep your views to yourself. You here to play a game? That's what you should do. Just play the game.
fact that well, you can't really express yourself, or you definitely can't say, like you just said, like you can't say what's on your mind or how you feel about a particular subject for sure. Um, and of course, the cancel culture is real. That is real. That is what players are dealing with. That is what streamers are dealing with. The fact that at any time, at any moment, you can be clipped, you can be sent to the social medias, you can say this, that, and the third. Your sponsor will take a look at it. They'll message you about the situation. They'll want somebody to take action, and the next thing you know, they may get you up out of there, man. Just because that particular person had a view about how they felt about a subject, they couldn't express themselves accordingly. And of course, that does go into freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. And again, that when you are on that particular platform, you're destined, designed to speak and act a certain way. Like you can't express yourself as how you want. Like you're supposed to be this happy-go-lucky streamer. You're this happy-go-lucky player. Play your game, smile, thank people for the donations or whatever, and then just keep it moving. Yeah, I guess that's just
Yeah,
how it
that's
is.
just how it is. And
Yep.
Big Majin is definitely one of those happy-go-lucky streamers. He he's there to play the game. He just made one comment, and that one comment defined his streaming destiny. I mean,
I
some people. I mean, I've heard comments from some people who's like, I mean, that wasn't even bad what he said. Then there's other people who loves drama. They literally blew it out of proportion. Got him canceled off. Got this freshly new sponsor. He had less than a day. Got him dropped. I mean, he was on his way to getting his due diligence because he is also a OG of the tech community, and this cancel culture thing. You know, and by him being a black African American, I mean the positivity that he had, of course, it went unnoticed. Positive things that he's done on his stream and all that went unnoticed. But as soon as he does something negative, everybody and their mom know about it now. Everybody and their mom know about him, and that's what they know him for.
that's yeah, that's deep, man. Same question to you, Sir Retro. How do you feel about trash talk in the FGC?
Yeah, it's significantly changed. And the funny thing about it, I can give you straight examples from actually our local community where we had three top examples of one where the guy, okay, yeah, we have one where, you may not know, I know Pokchop may know, and because he played them a while back, but one of our guys that was in the scene, Tony, Tech and Tony, that we call him, he was the epitome of trash talk in our scene to the point where he started playing Tekken, got into the game, he never played a fight game before, but he got into the game, learned the game, and I would say for this though, he was definitely, he did kind of cross that line yet. He didn't feel confident yet. But within our scene, he was like he was that villain that people in Tekken wanted to beat because he would make people so upset, and so heated. But it made them want to get better just to beat him because how much of trash talk. He like my favorite one when he talked about one of the guys he beat. He's like, yeah, I beat you and your brother, and then everybody like, what, his brother? And he said he over there. So he pointed to a trash can, and everyone just like started dying laughing. But that's the type of trash talk he would do, and we loved it. And over time, personal stuff happened. He moved away to Atlanta, and we hadn't seen him. And of course, with them, you have our scene within like Street Fighter. They have people that trash talk a little bit, like, oh, this guy's a clown, I can handle him. But then when come time for tournament or exhibition and stuff, they don't show up, and they don't say anything. And not even like excuse we're working on. It's just like, oh well, if this person's not there, or if the people don't show up, they're not going to come and not going to beat these people. But then it's like, then at the same time they're like, oh, if these people are a certain rank, I don't want to deal with them. And that was like, years later that transition, and then now we're in a state of, we have rivalry now. We have, but then now not much of a trash talk, but you can see there is like intention that I want to beat this person. I want and not even trash talk, which is fine. But it's weird now, like this more of, they lose, they're like, man, he beat me, and then now we have a guy that has an entourage of 10 people that talk trash for him, and every time he wins a match, they will cheer and go crazy, and his opponents be like, feel so embarrassed, and they be like, we gotta beat this guy. He's a Zangief player from Atlanta, and he's just like beating people, and every time, But the thing is, but now we're kind of in the stage where it's still like, but it's right now we're at the stage where trash talk is is more softer, and the days of like run it or money match or do this or do that, that it's changed, because even so the guy Tony come back and he just now he doesn't talk trash anymore. He just want to focus and say, hey, y'all guys doing well, y'all guys doing good, hey, y'all beat me now, I'm cool. Versus him, he run his mouth all the time, and it was like 5 years ago, that changed till now where people will talk trash, and then they're barking no bite behind it. And it'd be frustrating because they blow up on like our social media, like, yeah, you can't beat me. If I beat you first to 10, it'd be 10-0, blah 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 blah, because your character's trash, you're trash, blah blah, and that was it. And then they be like, I don't actually like this person because he's rude, and this. I'm like, y'all guys just play the game, just play each other. Y'all guys been talking trash for like 3 weeks, and then next thing you know, they don't say nothing or don't show up or whatever, and then they still call each other clowns.
Yeah. So that kind of immediately nosedived into like toxic territory. Like, oh, now this person is toxic. Now this, that, and the third. Now I don't want to play this person. And then that kind of just spun. That just goes off the radar now. Like, yo, what happened to our little rivalry we had going on? Now I'm this, that, and the third. And then this is where it kind of maybe reaches the personal level of the trash talk. So again, man, it's definitely a different climate, for sure, that we're in now versus back then. Just offline, of course, was just a different beast. Back in the Street Fighter 4 era, man, you would just get torn to pieces just for not dropping it, not knowing a combo, dropping a combo, or just like your play style or whatever, man. I always bring this up every stream because he's still one of the legendary greats to me. Big boy. Every time when I was playing my matches back in Street Fighter 4, Big Boy would say, you ain't doing run style fears, you ain't doing a combo, you ain't doing this or that. Like while I was playing the match, and it didn't, because you thick skin, you get so used to hearing it. You've been to so many tournaments, like it don't really bother you. It don't bother you, but I just kind of accepted it as far as like just being part of the crowd, part of the experience. How you in a movie, or you watching a show, somebody might say good or bad. It might be good or bad, and that's just kind of how it was. Either you got people that like like you or like the way you play, and you just got some that don't. That's just come with the territory. I think not everybody's going to like the way you play or but it is at the end of the day, you're bringing home the results, you're doing what you need to do, and you clocking in and out, and that's what it's about nowadays. Oh my God, yo, it's a library. It's a library at this point as far as like playing matches, man. Even when even when I was playing just casuals at the event, I knew that of course I couldn't do all the screaming and yelling that I wanted to do, but I think the people in the crowd behind me was kind of like they was getting into us, me and Joel just talking trash to each other and stuff like that. But I kind of felt like certain people just weren't comfortable with that, like just from what I was looking at. So I kind of had to just calm down and like not say anything. And after we played our match, after I beat him, I just, I was like, all right, this is the match. I said this, that, and then I just walked off. And I kind of felt like a lot of people are just may not be comfortable in that type of environment of just trash talking. Like they may just view it as a negative thing, and they say, okay, well, this is what you guys are going to bring to this event. Of course, we got kids around and stuff like that. You got the language going on. Of course, you got to be mindful of that. But as far as just them being comfortable in that environment, that's what we want to make sure that happens to players. So yeah, we gotta, unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, but yeah, we gotta tone down the language at the events and stuff. So, and we gotta mind the volume now. So, now we're all older, it's a different experience versus when we were younger. We were allowed to go buck wild. Being at the Georgia World Congress Center, just the volume up there was going, it was just crazy back in those days. But nowadays, we just got to just play our match, shake hands, GGs, and just move on. Is that what's happening? None of that rivalry talk or banter that doesn't happen anymore. When the new era, so it is what it is, man. But let me move on to these questions right here, and then we can get you. We'll open up the panel for discussion here. So my first question is going to be for Nice1. Here, well, I'm gonna ask y'all all these questions. So Nice1, what was the first tournament you attended in Georgia, and what game did you play?
The first tournament I attended in Georgia. Are we talking about Street Fighter or Smash?
Just whatever tournament you touched down in.
All right, so ironically, the very first tournament that I've ever competed in 2006 was in Georgia, Peachtree. I think is it Peachtree, Georgia? Peachtree City, I think. There was a Smash tournament. And that was when like what is it on the MTV show True Life? I'm a Gamer. They had one of the guys as a Smash player, and I just watched the videos religiously, the crew battles and everything, and somehow stumbled upon Smash boards. They had a tournament, Smash 8, I think 7, going on in Peachtree City, Georgia. Went to that with my dad, and that pretty much kickstarted what I am today. And surprisingly, that was the very first tournament I went to, which happened to be in Georgia. And ever since then, I just, been keeping it moving. So,
what was the name of the Smash tournament?
it was I think it was Smash 8 7, and then how everybody got the story, their basement good, beating on their friends, everything, And this is like the time when the PS3 was about to come out, so this is like $600 console. So I was like, bro, I'm about to just roll up everybody at this tournament. Roll up everybody, get this PlayStation 3, live my life. Yeah, the kid went like 0-8, and this is when the round robin was a thing. So I went like 0-8, and I just left the tournament, and that was my eye opener. Or like, nigga, you trash. Get your shit together. So.
And you was like, "Yo, you took that experience. You didn't take your ball and run home with it. You just like, yo, you know what? Let me level up real quick."
There might have been a few little tears in the car on the way home because my dad was talking shit to me. He's like, "Boy, you got your ass skull drugged out there. You thought you was gonna win that shit, huh?" I was like, "Oh my god!" after that, I went watched videos and got better. But yeah, my dad, he gave it to me that day. He know my shit apart.
Like, he's supposed to support you.
Hey, he was like, man, and then that's the thing, right? Because the tournament, it's a multi-day tournament. You know, they had teams and stuff back then. But he took me there and sat in the car and just slept all day. So he was like, man, I can't believe you got me all the way out here just to get your ass whooped. You got like last place or something. Goddamn, boy, got your ass skull drunk and shit. I was like, man, but yeah, that right there, that was the one.
Yeah, he said, you know what? I should give you the belt for making me come out here and waste this gas. But it looked like somebody else already beat me to it. Yeah.
Damn. They wore my shit out at that tournament. I'm not gonna lie. They was taking turns with me. Like they weren't even picking their mains, and it was bad. But that was the one. First tournament, and that started up everything for your boy, and we've been here since. I guess the trash talking came from him.
Okay.
Here we are. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen.
There it is, the Nice1 origin story. Okay. And then the same question for you, Chop. What was the first tournament you attended in Georgia, and what game did you play?
My first tournament was final round 6. I played Tekken 4. That was my very first tournament.
You was playing Brian?
At that tournament, yeah, I played Brian at that tournament. I got like top 16 or something like that very first tournament. Because I was already, by that time, I was already establishing the underground arcades. So, not knowing that the crew that I played with was some of the best players in the States, not knowing that's, I went to the tournament and just wrecked shop. And I was definitely money matching while I was there, and people was like, "Man, who is this kid, man? He's tearing people apart, taking people money, and losing money too." But I mean, I was. They knew then that I was going to be a force to be reckoned with.
So you've been money matching since the beginning.
Yeah.
It wasn't just something that just like over the time. Oh, I'm nice at this game now. Let me see whose pockets I can get into. But you said, nah, this was day 1, day 0. You was in there. Let me get these money matches on.
We used to money match our underground arcade, man. At that time, we was playing $5 a game, $20 a game. Like, man, it was real, man. So yeah, hey man, the era that I came up in was gruesome, man. Either you lost a lot of money or you won some money. And it was the only way that you would get top players to play you for real. Seriously. That's how I got so good so fast.
Damn. Because you didn't want to lose money, yo. You did not want to lose your money.
Right.
So you had to you went through a training regimen and you was like, yo, I'm not losing any money. And if I lose some, I'm money matching you back again to get my money back that I lost. So right. you had a little system going on with that. Do you remember?
And speaking of which, my bad. Money matches back then, there was nothing like now. Now you lose, man. You gotta beg them to. Hey man, run it back. Oh no, man, I'm gonna take my money. Like this new generation suck, man. Like back, man. Listen, see, there was an unspoken rule of money matching. When you won money off an opponent, you give them a second chance to win their money back. And it's up to you after that to keep money matching, but you always gave a player a chance to win their money back. That was the unspoken rule of gambling, period. Mm-hmm. You don't take the money and run. This new generation, man, they don't respect that, man. They be like, oh man, I won, I'm finna go. I'm like, man, whatever.
Just off of the one set, they like, yo, they got the money and they done.
They want to done you, man. I've had that happen to me so many times, man. Like me and Nice1 money match. Nice1 be the one. Hey, you want to run that back? If I lost, hey, you want to run that back? If I win, hey, you want to run that back? Nice1 be like, hey, run that back. Man, Nice1, like I say, we be money matching for hours, man. Yeah. And we won't even be up. We'll be even. But because the thrill of it, we're playing serious. It was always the thrill of it. Also, we don't want to lose that money.
Yeah.
So you had something on the line, something for it to work to. You like, yo, you don't want to walk out here, losing your $20 or your $30 that you came to the tournament with. So you wanted to play at your best. You had to play at your best in order to get the money.
And
So
now players is like, oh, I'll play you some casuals. Okay, I'll play you some casuals. Guess what? I'm finna go pick one of my third, fourth, fifth tier characters that I don't play. I'm finna play you. Here you go. You're not going to get to serious me. Like I said, that's how you got top players to play you serious. I mean, sandbagging. That's how it is.
Do you remember you remember new Challenger, the new Challenger arcade back in like was it North Decatur or North Decatur Mall?
I never knew the names of them, but yeah, North Decatur Mall. Yeah. I mean, I didn't go up there too much, but I knew of it. I mean, I have gone up there and played in it, maybe a select few times. But at that time, I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh hardcore, so I was going to the flower shop. I would be in the food court playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay,
Underground Arcade was the arcade that I played in.
Oh, okay. Okay, I remember because they had a Third Strike cab over there and like a Marvel 2 cab, and from back that's like way back then, like when I was just younger. But okay, yeah. So let me ask Max this next question then. That kind of segues. That actually goes into the next question. So, who introduced you to fighting games, or how did you find the Georgia SFV, Chop?
Yeah, I've been playing fighting games since Street Fighter 1 came out. I mean, Street Fighter, was it Street Fighter 2? It was on Super Nintendo. The very first Street Fighter on Super Nintendo. I've been playing fighting games since then. So, I mean, I've been playing fighting games since fighting games existed. As far as who introduced me, I didn't know it was a scene at the time. I thought it was people just go down to the arcade. But I would say my cousin had introduced me into that. He told me about going down to Underground and playing these players that he couldn't even beat, and I would play them at the arcade. As far as getting to my first tournament was through Iceman. Iceman introduced me to my very first tournament, which was Final Round 6.
Wow, man. Wow, that's Final Round 6, yo. Would you even be able to like find footage of that event? Like if somebody had like
I do have footage of it, but it's VH1. I mean VHS.
Yeah.
It was no cameras. It's just matches of Tekken 4. But that was Iceman giving me. He gave me that tape and he was like, "Hey, here goes some of your tournament matches," and it was on VHS. I still have it to this day.
Still have it to this day. Dang, yo. You still had that cassette. Still had the cassette. So you gotta get a VCR to take a look at it.
Yeah, I have to get a VCR to take a look at it. Yeah.
Oh man, Final Round 6. Shoot, that makes me think. Like, what was Final Round 2, 3, 4? Like, who were the players back then? Like, beyond that, like
that'll be Clint, Truth, K Gun. I want to say maybe Killer 6 was around back then. Man, yeah, a lot of older players, man.
Damn, man. That's
because Final Round was originally a Tekken tournament. Well, was it? Well, I know that Tekken was its
that was the main title. Well,
that was the main title of Final. Well, no, that was the main title of Final Round. Was Tekken.
Okay.
Yeah, but I believe Larry probably started Final Round off of Street Fighter. Definitely Street Fighter, because Tekken 1 or 2 probably was out back then.
Tekken 1. Whoa, wait a minute. Tekken 1?
95, 96? Dang.
What? I didn't know. I didn't go back. It goes back even further. You're like, we doing Tekken 2 tournaments? Yo, come on. That's what's up, man. Yeah, that made me want to try to dive in and try to like find some form of information about that. But that's what's up, man. I did not know it was running Tekken 2 tournaments from like way back then. All right. You know what? Now that I think about it, I do remember when we had Heavyweight, one of our guests here on the podcast. He did mention that one of his players had been competing since Street Fighter Two, like here in Georgia. So that kind of makes me wonder if they went to final round and played in a tournament for Street Fighter Three or something. But all right, yo, that's what's up. All right, same question to you, nice one. Who introduced you to fighting games, or how did you find the Georgia Fighting FGC?
Introduced me to fighting games. My bigger brother. Pretty much story like everybody else. Street Fighter. Remember playing that. Pretty vaguely, but I think for the most part, my biggest memory was me playing Killer Instinct on the SNES, and being in Louisiana, and the arcades there was a lot different because you actually stepped on like a DDR type platform for this game to play, and the lines was ridiculous to play this game back and forth. Fast forward, moved to Alabama, and we had two different malls, and I don't know. I think Chop may remember Skits.
That name?
Oh,
Very, yeah, very, very old school
oh
Marvel 2 player.
shoot, man, yeah, skits.
Yeah,
Man, you had skits. You had Red Zoe.
yeah, yeah,
Man, you had so many, some of those older Bama heavyweight.
yeah,
No, no, no. Is it no Gunslinger?
yeah.
Man.
So when I went to the
Dang.
arcades, I remember seeing Skits, and he was wrecking shot with Astroth in Soul Calibur 2, 30 plus game win streaks, and everybody was just taking it from him left and right. uh, and I think that's pretty much put the competitive scene in me, because they actually did a tournament there at the arcade. Um, and I of course got, destroyed and whatnot, but I think the competitive spirit and whatnot is, which pretty much started it, because then they brought in Tech, and I played a little Tech, and I wasn't good at it, but I enjoyed it. Law was my character, and then Red Zoe was in there going ham on everybody in that. Uh, and like I said, I started out with Smash as a competitive game, and when I went to final round, I think it might have been 11, because they put the Smash players in like a small room. And our friends was like, "Yo, there's this tournament called Final Round. It's gonna have Smash and other fighting games." And boy, when I walked into the ballroom of the other games, I was shocked, because I didn't even know that they had big tournaments for games like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I think it was Tekken. DR was there. Soul Calibur, Third Strike, and I think there was a money match going on between Red and another King player, like a first to 10, and that's when he hit him with the rolling death cradle on the big screen, and I think that pretty much,
You talking about ZZY?
yeah, and I think that pretty much let me know, like, all right, there's other games out here that I actually want to, play and dabble with. And when Street Fighter 4 was announced, that's when I said I'll put down Brawl, because I wasn't liking it and transition to Street Fighter. But them final rounds, man, have a lot of great memories. A lot of great memories.
Wow, for sure, man. Final round was this was the event, man. It was definitely the event, man. Your breakout scene. Everybody that's been in the scene for over 5 years or so has touched at least one final round. FGC wise, like competitive wise, if you've been in the scene, you've seen or heard about some final round, man. So just being there in that venue playing against so many different players from all over the state, you get to meet so many new people, and just bridge out relationships and friendships from there. And the history goes on and on. That's why it's always such an amazing experience to be a part of. Even when I was just coming into the scene fresh new, I mean, I was my first final round. I was in my early 20s. Now I'm in my mid 30s, and I'm like, yo, I've just been just within the scene for that long period of time, and I'm coming into the FGC with just no experience at all. Like as far as fighting games is concerned, I've never competed into the tournament. I mean, I played in arcade and stuff in the mall. I've seen them actually run tournaments on arcade cabinets in the mall, but I never signed up for them. I always just spectated and watched, the players just going at it on these cabs. Um, they always had that what was it in the arcades? They always had that one game that was on the big screen, like they had the sticks far away from it. So, but it was always that one competitive game that was right there to like catch everybody's attention. And this one was Marvel 2. They had Marvel 2 on this really big screen, and I remember as a kid watching the tournament for it. Just seeing all the all the characters and stuff, just doing combos and things of that nature. Um, and it was just an exciting time for me as a kid just to spectate something like that. And then, Lord and behold, few years down the road, I learned about final round. I go to final round, and that's my first big, major experience. And I kind of just, it kind of just segues from there, as far as like different players coming through and competing at these events, man. So the FGC community was really strong, man. And I hope that this is not the end of final round, man. I hope final round definitely comes back. I know that certain people just may not have been too fond of the event or things of that nature, and that's fine. But when you have an event that hits so close to home, that's responsible for a lot of things within your fighting game career, it's kind of hard to just cut ties with something unless something like really diabolical happens between you and an event. But that's not the case, man. I'll still support it. And hopefully, next year could be the year we hear something about final round coming back in some form or fashion, for sure. So let me segue into my next question that I got for you, gentlemen. Let's go back to the modern times. We went back to the past, but we're going back to the present now. And I'll start off with you, Chop. I'll start off with you. What do you think of the current Street Fighter V community scene here in Georgia?
You say, what do I think of the Street Fighter community here in Georgia? You really want to ask me that?
Yes.
That's funny.
Now it's getting good. Yeah.
I mean, nobody really loyal, man. Like the Street Fighter community here is not loyal. Like that's why the scene is dead. There are no loyal players. It's like what Nice1 said. If certain players come out, other people gonna stay home. They rather just play online, and Street Fighter scene here is just it's not like the Street Fighter 4 scene. Like we had, Joel always. I mean, of course, Joel wasn't even a top player then, but he came out. He fought to be a top player. You had Joel, you had Neon Voite, you had what's that young player? What's the young player name? I forgot his name. Joey used to come out. Man, we had like all the Street Fighter 4 tournaments always had 20 to 30 plus people. And then those players, pretty much retired. Then the new generation, the younger players, they're like, oh man, I can't beat that guy. I'm gonna go home. I'm not coming out there. I'm gonna stay home and play online. That's what I'm gonna do. So it's the scene has gotten weak. It truly has. And the same players that was top players in Street Fighter 4 are just top players in Street Fighter 5. I mean, for the exception of maybe one, FGC Jesus, but he only good because his character is stupid, and his character is an unorthodox character, sort of swing a lot. Once that character is out of 6, I'll guarantee you he won't be a top player. It'll still be Joel. It'll still be Nia Voite. It'll be Terrence still probably. It'll probably be KB. Those players traveled. They actually traveled to get better. And yes, they play online too. They do both worlds.
All right. Same question for you, Nice1. What do you think about the? Well, actually, it'll be a 2-part question for you because you're in Bama. So what is the your current thoughts on the scene in Bama, and then what are your current thoughts on the scene here in Georgia?
In Bama, shit. You still have me, Greg. When Tim was in Bama, he moved, but it's pretty much, it's a tournament. We're gonna show up, the 4 or 5 of us there. we still gonna support at the end of the day, no matter who's there. But yeah, it got to that point where cats is like, well, why would I go to this tournament when I could just, play online? Then I catch your ass at final round or combo breaker, and I'm like, yo, why you don't come out to the locals? It's too far. There's not enough people to enter. Blah blah blah. I'd rather just play online, and I'm like, okay, so rather play online just to go 0-2 at a major. I bet. And then once you get deuced up, then sometimes they come to us and be like, hey, can we play sets? I'm like, fam, we out here. So as long as the NCAA guys are running tournaments, I don't care if it's 1 person, 2 person, 3 person, I'll be there. And I know Greg will be there too because he still travels too. Hell, even going to Georgia at one point when it was just, everybody had their other personal stuff going on. I was going to Georgia for tournaments by myself at times. I just drive my little Malibu and, head to GB because I knew there was a lot of people to play. Regardless if they're good or not, I was just happy to play offline with people. Georgia community and Street Fighter 5, for the most part, I've been pretty much out of touch on it, to be honest. I mean, we got our chat and whatnot, so I still see these guys still playing online and whatnot. I think people honestly just want a new game. I think Street Fighter 5
they want a new game.
I think they want a new game. I think this game has lived its lived its lifestyle.
New game's gonna come out and it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same deal, man. Like it's to a point you gotta stop blaming it on. Hey, I think they just ran on a new game. No, they're not waiting on a new game, bro. They're gonna come out, play 1 or 2 tournaments, realize they can't win, and they're gonna leave again. That's the new generation for you. Just like Jazz Rap, bro. Jazz Rap came and played Street Fighter at 2 tournaments. He won 1, I think, or got second, But when everybody started learning the game, guess what Jazz Rap did? He stopped playing that game and went back to anime fighters. You're gonna have players like that.
Yeah.
So you can't do that, Nice. You can't say, hey, he just went on a new game. No. The Tekken community is waiting on a new game. Not Street Fighter.
Some people are waiting for a new game. Like, okay, put it from Street Fighter 4 to Street Fighter 5. Look how stressful this game is. Most people don't even money match in Street Fighter 5 just because, it takes 3 combos and then I lose chunk of my life.
It's a one hit wonder game.
I mean, yeah, it's a one hit wonder game, but at least in Street Fighter 4 you had a lot of knowledge checks. If I did EX Tatsu and you couldn't optimize your shit, you wasn't finna beat me. But in this game, I whip DP, I'm getting chunks left off some random Johnny Donuts dude. Game is man stressful. I think people want a new game. I mean, I'm burnt out on it. I want a new game. A lot of people do, but this is what we got until some new comes out. But I mean, yes, to your point, a new game is gonna come out. Some people gonna think that, all right, the new game's drop. I think I'm gonna be better. They're gonna get their shit pushed in, but something new. And maybe, they'll stick around and play. Maybe they won't, but Street Fighter 5 has lived its course. Ain't nothing new to this game. It's the same combos. There's no variety to it. Honestly, it's pretty boring to watch. I watch more Tekken than this game.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of variety. It's same combos. It is what it is. At least with Street Fighter 4, you had people that stood out and you knew, like, all right, this is what Daigo did, execution guy. This is Psycho, execution guy. Mark Teddy, rush down guy. My guy, set play guy. Red Man, intellectual guy. But in this, it's low forward, Tenko, shoulder to the corner, block string. Yeah, all Karens pretty much do the same thing. Just a little variety though, but not much.
So it's a flow chart. Basically, the gameplay is just super flow chart as far as offense.
It's dull. I mean, shout out to Mac Negro and whatnot, and he's killing it. But I mean, I'm watching Birdie stand fierce with V trigger. It hits.
Oh my god.
V trigger 2, crouch fierce, bullhead to the corner you go. What's next? Fuck up again, do it again. Like, but
rinse and repeat. Yeah.
But I watch you in Street Fighter 4. I'm at least seeing a variety of what you're doing, and I mean there was execution and whatnot too. It's just
shout out to Rizzo, man.
I mean it's just a dull game.
Shout out to Rizzo, one of the best Crimson Viper players I've ever seen in my life, man. Shout out to Rizzo, man.
So, and I mean I see what I kind of do like what they're. Even with this new patch that's coming, it looks appealing. Maybe more combos,
And that's
but
what you just said, right? Then you just say it needs a new, you tired of seeing the same old combos, but with this new patch, you got new combos coming.
yeah. But the only thing is, I mean, it's a trailer, so we'll see what they actually do. And I think that's kind of why they, even with the Mika with the Irish whip, maybe there's some other stuff that they can add to it and whatnot. But if they can, I think Street Fighter Five honestly should have probably dropped with like a bunch of combos. I get it, the frames, not one frame links, but give it some variety, some flavor to it. I mean, people were saying this when the game first dropped. Granted, nobody wants to play Street Fighter 4 with one frame links and whatnot and all these safe jumps. Cool, but give me some variety. When I'm not watching everybody do the same thing over and over. I'm not really trying to see the same combos over and over.
I missed the
mean,
one frame links because it took skill to do.
Yeah, I mean, I miss those too, but it's, I mean, if I'm gonna get hit by a long string combo and it takes off a lot of my life, cool, I like that. I ain't really trying to get hit with, target combo EX shoulder. I mean, target combo EX palm shoulder, palm, and then rinse and repeat. It hurts, but I need more.
I mean, there are higher execution characters in the game.
I agree.
So
Like I like the Monat stuff. I do like the Monat stuff, and
I mean, still Street Fighter Five mechanics though. Let me hit you one time, and I hit you one time. Let me kill you. Or you beat me half to death. Now let me hit you one time and activate V trigger and win the game.
there wasn't. There wasn't. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't that in Street Fighter 4. Like, you had to fight for your life in that game. There was no comeback mechanic in that. So it was literally all, neutral and skill. Neutral and skill. You had ultras, sure, but you had to be wise about when to use your ultra. If you use it, it whiffs. Guess what? You shit out of luck. But if it hits, yes, you get the damage, you catch the light lead, and then you could, maintain the neutral. There wasn't no activation mechanic for you to come back and, now you got to, block and guess. It was straight neutral in Street Fighter 4. So, and I think because of the older players, since we're all older players, we were so used to that particular atmosphere. And then when Street Fighter 5 came along, it took us out of that zone, because now there's a V trigger system you got to worry about. Now your opponent activates V trigger, and guess what? They can potentially take the round back from you. That's why you always hear the term robbery. Is more common in this game versus where Street Fighter 4, they don't consider that robbery. They just call it a legitimate combat, because there was no meter mechanic to help them get the victory outside of just building ultra and EX meter. But outside of that, that was just straight neutral. But the fact that Street Fighter 5 was introduced for a new generation, the next generation of players, like, they wanted to make the game a little bit more easier, more accessible to a newer audience, and that's how they wanted to present it. And that was it was a new system. They wanted to do something different. They wanted to, because you couldn't make Street Fighter 5 the exact same as Street Fighter 4 with just newer characters and upgraded graphics. You had to give some kind of, change the system up a little, change the system up, do something new. And that's what Street Fighter 5 was. They couldn't do the same thing as Street Fighter 4. So that's what you got. And it is indeed, it is much easier. I know the combos look boring or something that, after 6 or 7 years, people want something new. And that's why everybody just right now just waiting with bated breath to see how Street Fighter 6 is going to play out. A lot of people have their guesses and their thoughts of what the game is going to play like. And we just basically just got to just wait to see what the gameplay trailer looks like at this point. But I think it goes back to what Nice1 was saying, like, after so much time, after seeing, the same sequences, the same flow, same combos, it does kind of get that draining snooze fest feeling. Whereas with Street Fighter 4, how old is that game now? That game is over 10 years old now. And you can look at you could look at a Street Fighter 4 match and you could kind of be invested into a tournament on that because that requires more skill than Street Fighter 5. So at the end of the day, I think you would rather look at a Street Fighter 4 match or like any other game match from a different game than I guess watch a full series of 5 because you kind of see the same sequences over and over again. And I think people get extra hype when they see characters that don't normally win in the long term meta. I think that's when it starts to get interesting to watch, right?
Yeah.
Like when you see characters that don't get played that often in a top 8 or a top 16 or something, you be like, oh, yo, who is this person? Oh, they using this character, and then that's when people start to get hype and you want to watch the rest of their run versus the characters that always win all the time. So yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from. I kind of see where you're coming from on that. But yeah, let me segue into this. We'll open up the floor about anything else you guys wanted to talk about Street Fighter 5 wise. Chop, Nice1. The floor is yours, y'all. What you guys got?
Only thing I got is I'm going to welcome the players that come and play that come and play Street Fighter 6. I welcome you, and I'll be there when you leave.
That could be interpreted in kind of like different ways because you could say, yo, I'll be there when you get there, right? And that could be like the first tournament or the first 3 weeks of the game, and then depending how they feel about it, they stay or they go, and you say you'll be there when they leave. So I guess after that first tournament, if they not doing something, they'll leave.
I'll still be there. Just let them know.
You'll still be there. All right. What about you, Nice1? What we got, yo?
Pretty much like Chop. New game comes out, we'll be here, regardless if you stick around or leave. Capcom, please do something about this netcode. It makes no sense that all these other games have good netcode. So when the pandemic hit, that's like an eye opener to say that your netcode is trash. So actually do something about it because it makes no sense. All these other games are dropping with better netcode. I mean, it's as crappy as it sounds, and some people don't want to go offline and stuff for whatever reasons, which is fine. We all respect it because online is still there at the end of the day. It's 2022. You really can't be dropping games with trash netcode. You can't. That's like the make or break for some games. Because some people still don't have a community, especially with the pandemic that's still going on and whatnot. Some people are not going to leave the house, so this is your only way of getting better.
I've seen those posts on Twitter about encouraging people to go to locals and hey, I'm at my local and stuff like that, and just try to get some form of offline interest in the scenes and trying to encourage people to play more offline. You see that you're starting to see those posts up now because I guess it all stems from people just might not be showing up to offline that much, and we've already touched bases on why is that the case. But yeah, what about you, SirRetro? You got any thoughts for us here?
Like I said, of course, we're in that new era now. Like I said, with new generation, and that the culture has changed definitely significantly. Because I think for me, when getting involved with FGC, I kind of caught the tail end of things of the older generation with like the trash talk, the money matching, the fellowship, where a lot of things were like, it wasn't really personal. It was just, it had the roughness to it, but it was for the building of like the players and the mentality and their skills and stuff like that. So I'm glad to see how it was, and of course now seeing the transition to where, let's say, the generation that we're dealing with now, they don't understand that the purpose of the way we interact is not for we're not trying to not to exclude you or to get rid of you. We're there to like, hey, this is how our culture is. This is how our life is. In the game, in the community. But the thing is, the days where I've seen, like I said, people like go talk trash to each other's, call each other out, all that type of stuff, and then next at the end of the tournament, like, hey, let's go to Waffle House, get something to eat, drinks on me, or whatever, or coffee's on me, whatever. You don't. I say you don't see that anymore, and that for me, my end as a TO, I'm part of an esports group now, and I'm now talking with city officials because like that's why we have the Cherry Blossom tournament. Eventually, I told them about the alt culture and how to hey, this is where we are. The money matches, we're gonna have people that might talk trash, people with money matches, and they were like, okay, we respect that. So at the same time, of course, there's sponsors and people like that's involved. So we can't go super wild and say super explicit stuff, but it's where that they understand that the pop offs and the talk trash and call outs and all that stuff. That's part of our competitive spirit. That's what basically makes it who we are. So my end is basically to help guide that, help the new generation, teach the new generation to understand that how the culture is, and not the intentions is never to like exclude, but to improve and to help. Because like I said, the only like players. Because many people come to the community because they felt they don't belong anywhere else, and the community for many people like me became a family. So I want to make sure that is on that path where it still keeps that competitive spirit and the strong rough competitive spirit, but to further like I said, strengthen each individual, and that's my main goal. So as far as the idea of like the trash talk and everything like that, I want to really help address that, if anything, at least for our newcomers to the scene, and then that way hopefully 10 years from now, if I move on and decide to retire, we still have a actual FGC is still maintaining the creed or whatnot that makes the FGC, and not just where you have people that like don't care about the games, don't care about anything else but themselves or anything that's only beneficial to themselves, and otherwise is not worth coming out. So that's my focus and my perspective. But as for like the future of Street Fighter as well, I hope that the developers can understand how the scene has been supported from day one. Because I think without the FGC, Street Fighter 5 would have been way super dead. And to be honest with you, because it was no one but us that really kept that game alive. So for us to have Street Fighter 6, they should make it, but I don't think that incentive with without the incentive of us pushing for tournaments and support for Street Fighter 6 is probably would may have been considered, but probably been like scrapple or put to the side for a while. So the thing is that hopefully developers can really look into understanding and work with the community. And I mean, it may not be only for the community, because you want to reach, as a company, you want to reach to people outside to buy your game and get involved, whatever like that. And they don't have to get competitive, but the idea is that you help focus with those that definitely support it consistently and look into that, and even with the culture itself. So that's the thing, is working with the bridging. It's not easy, and for sure, but bridging that gap between that culture of the community and the grassroots versus the more professional, sophisticated, more established, companies and corporations. But so yeah, that's all I have to say.
Couldn't have said it better myself, man. We have Street Fighter 6 on the horizon, and we got to have the new, even newer players coming in the next generation. Like they're definitely going to be players who Street Fighter 6 will be their first fighting game. Street Fighter 6 will be their introduction into the Georgia scene. They'll be played. Those players will eventually branch out over time with enough experience. They'll be traveling offline to these majors and stuff. So, and then they get interviewed. They say, "Well, what was your first fighting game?" And I say, "Well, Street Fighter 6." If we hear that, we're instantly gonna age about 20 years. you look in the mirror, we instantly see the grays just off of that statement, because that's going to be an amazing story. But that's going to happen, and we have to we have to set an example. We have to make sure that these players that are coming in have a place to play. Online, after a while, it does get tiring. Online, you do get tired of losing to this particular, but this rollback or this particular frame. You block, but you still get hit. This, that, and third. It does get tiring after a while, so it's okay to walk away and take a break from it. But again, when these new players come in, they have to hit the ground running for our scene. We at least want to, if we're going to pass the torch on to these new generation, we just want to make sure they're set in a foundation where they can grow and develop. Because who knows, 10 years from now, when there's Street Fighter 8 or something like that, they could look back and they could be, and I said, they could be the old ones telling the story for the next generation. So it's just going to be like a carry the torch type of situation where we want to make sure that these players that are coming in have somewhere to go to compete, and get experiences on their own. Let them be the ones to set forth the future. So, with that being said, man, final thoughts. We're gonna do final thoughts, and we're just gonna close it out. Nice1, what you got for us, man?
With these new generation of players, go to Walmart, get your pacifiers ready, because they're all gonna have to be babied for them to keep coming back and playing with us. At least that's how I see it. The way how people get rolled up now and quit the game.
Well,
Support your scenes, because that's at the end of the day, that's where you started at. Support your scenes, they die, and then you just left by yourself. Trust me, we know in Alabama, we started strong, and the traveling Mohicans for Street Fighter was like me, Greg, and Tim. So
Traveling Mohicans, yo.
Oh yeah, hey, we used to go strong, and then they just started dropping like flies for whatever reason, personal reasons, etc., whatever. Not gonna get into that, but then it got to the point where it's like, look, hey, hit up Greg, hey, where we going? This tournament. All right, Tim, you rolling? Yep. All right, the three of us, and here we are. Yep, the three amigos, man. So, and support your locals, man. Hey, you gotta support your locals, because Tim came down there and took the tournament. Didn't nobody know about it. Took a nice little trophy and dipped out that thing.
Southeast Battle. Well, no. What is it? No. Southeast Mayhem. My bad.
There was no Georgia gatekeepers out there to do anything, and y'all let Tim show up, get him a nice little plaque to put on his office desk, and now he look at it with a big smile. And now, and then it's always the best question whenever somebody shows up to the tournament. Yo, who was at that tournament? Shit, nigga, you wasn't there. you didn't gatekeep, so
Yeah, he did call us out in the last episode.
Yeah, so hey, y'all better go to all your tournaments. And I hope Street Fighter 6 is good net code. I hope it launches as good, not like Street Fighter 5. So that's the big thing about it. If it could launch as a complete game, like Street Fighter 4, even though Street Fighter 4 had patches down the line, but it was a complete game at the end of the day, despite big damage and all that. Just give me a complete game. Don't spend all your time trying to keep patching it to finally make a complete game when we get to Arcade Edition, and then your game is pretty much on crutches at this point because you've done what you can. And support your locals again, and get your pacifiers ready, and that's it.
All right, Chop. Chop, what you got for us? Closing statements.
Definitely. Hey, KnowledgeReUp. Hey, man, stop talking trash to me, dog, because you already know what it is. You know what time it is, dog. All that typing that you got going on. You know where I live. Come on over here. Let's get to it. Stop with all the typing. You know what days I'm free. Come on with it, man. Just come with it. All right? All that typing that you got going on. Do all that typing on them buttons, on the controller. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, to answer your question. To the new players coming, once again, I look forward to playing y'all for the 3-4 weeks that you do play Street Fighter 6. And once you're gone, then I'm going to take the game seriously. And then I'm going to get back to playing the the normal players, Joel, Neon, those guys. KnowledgeReUp. Well, I mean, even KnowledgeReUp, even though he's trash, I'll definitely get better at trash talking while beating on his skull and tearing him to pieces. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Uh, but but seriously, on a serious note, for the new players coming in, stay because you can only get better from your losses. So don't take it with a grain of salt. Just take it and get better. Get with some people that are better than you, and learn from them. And even the players that are not better than you, you can also learn a thing or two from players that's not better than you. So I just say just come and stay in the scene. Play, come out to the locals, support your locals. Okay, because back in my day, we didn't have tournaments. We only had final round, which was once a year, and now we have tournaments twice a week. So there's no reason why that you shouldn't support your locals in Georgia. We have tournaments everywhere. So come on out. Let's get better together, and look forward to when tournaments do come back to here in Georgia. Look forward to protecting this house. That was Larry's favorite line: "Protect this house."
Protect this house, indeed, yo. That is the legendary line, and I always remember it to this day, man. Protect this house. All right, SirRetro, final closing thoughts.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully for the new generation, and those who are out there, of course, coming back into the scene and whatnot. Like I said, looking forward to keeping the Georgia FTC strong. That guys are basically my family. Thank you, ShadowAce, Pokchop, even Nice1, even though I may not know you that well. But for your stories and for everything that you guys set before us out being pioneers. So hopefully that's, as me being more the recent TOs and so forth, that will continue to carry on that strong culture of the FTC. And definitely, like I said, for the new generation, we're going to help you guys get better. And that's my focus on. And make sure that, the FTC is, for the fellowship, for fighting, and for fun. But definitely looking forward to Street Fighter 6. Looking forward to other new series of games as well as coming out. And, yeah. And I think that, I think Georgia going to really evolve for the better. It may not be only with Street Fighter 6, but also to for the tournament things, that hopefully that we all have a final round again, or something that will be that its successor, I would say. So there's been talks here and there that people want to find ways to succeed it, but I think that it's just where we have to really, really get together to put something really big and make that huge effort and work together too. So, yeah.
All right. Appreciate the words from all of y'all, man. Once again, I want to thank you, everybody, so much who has been tuning into the series since the start of this. This actually began just off an idea of just wanting to, it was a desert out there. It's a little bit dry as far as the locals go for Street Fighter 5, and I just wanted to see, what was going on out there in the streets, man. So being able to hear from different players, getting their ideas and perspectives on, situations and topics, it's just eye opening, man. You get to hear so many different stories, like just knowledge checks, so much experience, man. Everybody has their own thoughts and opinions on this, that, and the third, and it's good to just hear that, just to hear all of that information. And I definitely know other communities check out our podcast. So big shout outs to you guys out there in the States, tuning in and just supporting this, man. And we just hope to just hear from more, man. This is episode 5. I honestly didn't think it'd make it to episode 5, but we're at episode 5 now. And hopefully, we just keep going. Just keep going. Episode 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's just let's just keep hearing from the community, man. Like, this is an open platform. If you have somebody or somebody that just wants to come through, and we can book a session and get you on here. Let the world hear your voice. Let the world know how you feel. Say it with your chest. and just see how it goes, man. But upcoming event that we have here that's planned with 404 Esports is going to be a Street Fighter 5 tournament. There'll be a Street Fighter 5 tournament starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on April 15th. We want to encourage as many players as possible to come out to this event, particularly at 404 Esports. Once the sign up link goes live on smash.dg, I'll post it up on on my social media there, and let you guys know when the signups are open for that particular event. But that event is supposed to be like just one more round, just one more chance to see the community come through together and just play this new patch out, man. It's the last patch of the game, so let's send it off with a bang, man, before Street Fighter 6 comes through. So we want to try to reach as many people as possible. I know we are confirmed to have some out of town guests come through to this event, so I think it'll spark a lot of interesting memories for sure. A lot of possibly even new beefs going into Street Fighter 6. So we'll see what happens when that day comes, man. But April 15th is definitely our one more round event that's coming through. Shout outs to KB for holding it down and putting this event together for the players. And we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. We'll keep our fingers crossed. I'm hoping for a good turnout. At least 20 to 25 people show up, and we'll just see what happens from there. But my closing thoughts is just do what you can, man. Do what you can. Of course, everybody's not going to have the same opinions, same thoughts, views about what's going on. If people stop playing the game, don't disassociate yourself from them because they stop. It's their choice. Again, you just want to try to be as supportive as you can towards their decision, and it is what it is at the end of the day, man. Just play what you can play and just keep grinding, man. Keep grinding. And that's gonna close it out for this podcast for episode 5. It will be archived on the Reboot Gaming channel, YouTube channel there. So you and SirRetro, once he does the editing, he'll post up the link for that, and he'll tag of course both of you gentlemen in that. And again, this is just always nice to hear, man. So whether you're doing a workout, you can do a good workout. You can listen to the previous episodes, get you a good workout in, and by the time you finish, you'll be done with your workout. So, again, this is just a knowledge check to hear from different players within the community. So I'm definitely looking forward to episode 6. If, again, you guys know somebody that wants to come through and speak their mind, speak their piece, feel free to send them our way, man. You can find me on Twitter at Mind of ShadowAce. Where can the good folks find you guys at on your socials? Nice1.
You can find me only on Twitter because I rarely stream, and when I do, it's like once in a blue moon. So you can find me on Twitter at XX Nice1 XX. The one is a number, not the ONE. And yeah, for all your botting needs also, and all your GPU stuff. Shameless plug.
Okay, this man got the original Xbox 360 gamer tag name with all the X's and
that is
numbers
my
and...
Xbox. That is my Xbox name, actually.
Oh my gosh, look at that. It'd be like Dragon XYZ apostrophe sign or something like that. But yeah, what about you, Chop? Where can the good people find you at?
Hold on a second. People can find me at on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch at Pokchop 50. And also, April the 9th, make sure y'all tune in to my channel, Pokchop 50 on Twitch. As you will see, KnowledgeReUp getting his wig split to the white meat show and leaking. Okay? So, y'all come in and watch that, because he's going to get towed to pieces.
What is it? Tekken or Street Fighter?
Street Fighter.
Is that offline or online?
Boy.
It's offline.
It's offline.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, me and Ran Sess before over here. Yeah, he's been over to the dojo, man.
Offline first to 25, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna beat. Woo.
That'll give him the preparation for when he comes back to NCA. There you go.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. So you say y'all trying to get knowledge right for that event too as well. So when you come to NCA, what you say you just say you gonna pass them on to me, and that's what you saying. Nice one, damn.
Look,
Jeez.
look. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, look, they thought they was gonna come and win, and you know, they went back home. They probably stopped at Bucky's. You remember how we used to do back in GB? We finished the tournament, then we head home and get yogurt, win or lose. That's the car ride we gave him and Alex. They had to go to Bucky's and take that drive back home. So hopefully that brings back the competitive spirit. I'll look at my schedule, seeing how Street Fighter 5 is and whatnot, and try to make it out to some Georgia events. Probably hit up Greg. Let's see what we could do, because I do definitely want to come to Georgia and get some sets in.
Yeah, I want to meet you
so.
actually too and play you.
Yeah. I definitely look forward to it. Since I'm back and whatnot and trying to play and stuff, I just want to play and see all these old faces and whatnot, and get some offline events going like the good old days. To be honest.
Okay, come through out to see if you can. Well, I think I think you might be riding with Greg on the 15th, right? You coming through?
Unfortunately, I won't. I'll be in Florida with my dad and brother to see Chris Rock and whatnot. But for sure, if there's something going on before Combo Breaker, yeah, I'll be down and see if Greg wants to drive up and whatnot, and I could drive us up there and whatnot if there's something going on before Combo Breaker.
Okay. All right. That's what's up. And then SirRetro, where can the good people find you at?
Everywhere. Mainly on Twitter, SirRetro08, Instagram, same thing, SirRetro08. Of course, y'all guys are on here, twitch.tv/Sir_Retro08. I'm also very reachable on Facebook, also here on Discord as well. Anywhere, even TikTok too, because I actually like spread stories about what's going on in the FTC on TikTok, so people are loving it too. So definitely find me anywhere that has retro on it in any social media. More likely to find me now, and also of course on YouTube, SirRetro08. So yeah.
All right. Appreciate that, man. Once again, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you, Nice1 and Pokchop, for coming through. We'll see again, like I always do for the episodes. I'll post a little teaser about who we'll have on the next episode for episode 6. I'll have to do some searching, some soul searching to find out who I want in for episode 6. But if you guys got any recommendations out there, feel free to send them our way. We'll be more than happy to get them on the show just to talk to them and see what's up, man. But for that, yo, I'm out the door. GC's, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, and you guys have a good night.